ACC HL Championship game action coming at you on AAU Plus and YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. Maryland and Virginia Tech. Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak, and Finn Trainer is rinkside. We'll check in with Finn in just a little bit. National anthem and starting lineups coming up here in just a moment. This is going to be a good one, potentially. Two teams who have played really, really well in this tournament, and they have really earned everything that they've gotten in this tournament. 5 and a 7 seed, probably not who you had on your bracket when we started this thing, Owen, but they have done, I think, everything through the kind of hard work and effort that is emblematic of hockey players at every level.
Yeah, certainly. And both of these teams, their paths here were a little bit different. So Virginia Tech has been scoring at a much higher level than Maryland. Maryland has been more of a laid-back defensive team. Virginia Tech lit up the score sheet against High Point on Friday. They won that game 7-2. Maryland, they won their game 3-0 against Wilmington on Friday, but that game was 1-0 until the goalie was pulled for Wilmington, so 2 empty netters. And then yesterday, Maryland, a tough, grinded-out win against Rowan in overtime, 4-3, came back to tie that one up. And Virginia Tech, sure, their fans got a little bit nervous towards the end. They were up 4-0. That game ended up being 5-3. So Virginia Tech, they're a little bit more on the offensive end, while Maryland has been more defensive. And
Finn is rinkside with us right now. Finn, the two goaltenders in this game, Jack Farrisee and Tucker Forrest, have both been outstanding. Farrisee has had a little bit of a heavier workload. Forrest has had an extra day of rest after an outstanding first game. Who has the edge in net in this one?
It can really go both ways. Both of them are young goaltenders as well. Forrest is a sophomore and Farrisee is a freshman. So they have a lot more room to grow throughout the rest of their season, but they're also really, really strong in the position that they're at. Forrest, of course, starting in a championship as a sophomore when they have a senior in net as well, as Ian Key saw playing time yesterday against Penn State. Farrisee, however, has been very strong in net, so it could just be that he's seen so many shots that he's dialed in, or he could be tired.
Thanks, Finn. We'll step aside for the national anthem back in a moment on AAU Plus with the start of this game. Chicago Maroon and Burnt Orange versus the Red, Black, and Gold of Maryland. Virginia Tech and Maryland, the championship game of the ACCHL tournament here on AAU Plus and YouTube. Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak, and rinkside we will check in a little bit later with Finn Trainer as Virginia Tech and Maryland 5 seed versus 7 seed in this one. They have both had to take down the top 4 seeds in this tournament to get here combined. Really impressive road for both of these two.
Yeah, absolutely. Maryland knocked off 1 and 2. Virginia Tech knocked off 3 and 4. Let's see whose Cinderella run continues.
Officially underway. Virginia Tech wins the opening face-off, immediately sends this one deep, as the Hokies will start with the Gavin Now line. This one fired on, and a deflection wide just outside the crease. Didn't get on to the netminder. Tucker Forrest in goal for Virginia Tech. Jack Farrisee in goal for Maryland. And man, what what a tournament for Pharisee. He's been outstanding as he sticks one down. Not really a designed shot, was just meant to get sent deep. It was right at him. And we'll get our first line change of the day. Maryland makes their first change. Virginia Tech, a little bit of a lazy turnover in the zone. Hokies still able to get this one out regardless. And certainly among the many players we'll be talking about in this one, the top two defenders for each of these teams have been really good. For Maryland, Teske and Craven have been tremendous out there as a pairing. And for Virginia Tech, Logis and Rice have been really good. Get an early shot wide of the net. Giving chase. This is going to wind up coming to Austin Hearn. He's got a couple of goals in the last game and already a 2-on-1 opportunity developing for Maryland. Pass through the slot, a little bit long. That one skips over the stick of Hearn, sent back in by Theo Lanigan. Shot fired from a angle at the half wall was wide. And right now, puck really just cycling around. No real one official shot on goal here in the first 90 seconds, but nothing dangerous.
Yeah, both of these defenses are doing a really good job at not really allowing a grade A chance, despite both teams establishing some possession in their offensive zones.
Ooh, big shot there and a turnover force. Excellent forecheck to start. And Maryland not able to get a shot out of that one. It's a good hit thrown by Luke Mohan. Mohan, of course, hard worker for Maryland. Set up a goal in the first game through hard work.
Yeah, he's really good from the faceoff dot. If Maryland ever needs to win a faceoff, Mohan's going to be the guy they go to.
He sent it deep, and now he's going back to the bench for a line change. So everybody getting some early ice time here. They're kind of cycling through every line as quickly as possible. A lot of coaches like to do that. Don't make that first shift terribly long. Let everybody kind of get a feel for the ice. And this is, of course, the 7th game in 3 days just among these teams. There, of course, have been youth games on this ice as well. There was earlier this morning as another shot on from distance. This one gloved by Forrest.
And that's Brian Teske with the shot. And we have a matchup of the two best offensive defensemen in the ACCHL this season, and Brian Teske for Maryland, and then J.H. Logis, who was obviously the defensive player of the year in the conference.
It's a matchup we'll keep an eye on. Both of these teams have gotten offensive production from their blue line, and Teske in particular, not just an offensive defenseman. He can do it both ways. Got some bite in his game at 6'4".
And his pair partner in Caleb Craven, he is the ability to take over a game offensively.
And Craven just laid a pretty good hit, as you were saying it too.
Yeah.
Brian Teske giving chase to this one. Him coming back, Virginia Tech with a chance. Good back check here. And early on, I'm not surprised. Little conservative here. Now we got a turnover underneath behind the goal line. And a real good hit. Download, I think that was Chase Wilson. Tough to tell the difference between 19 and 18 right now because of the jersey tuck. But yeah, that was Wilson.
Yeah, Chase Wilson is another one of the really physical players for Maryland. Maryland has been playing much more physical than they had been during the regular season this tournament. And Wilson is a big reason for that.
Virginia Tech was obviously in this game a year ago and lost to Penn State, vanquished those Demons yesterday in that 5-3 win, opened up a 4-0 lead, though as you pointed out, might have been sweating a little bit in the third period before getting a big empty netter from Gavin Peduzzi, who I'm sure we'll talk about plenty here as we have a shot on, and that one saved. No problem for Pharisee, who's in excellent position.
Yeah, and you talk about Gavin Peduzzi, and he is a stud for Virginia Tech. I mean, he is the all-time leading point scorer. He pretty much leads in every single category besides shorthanded goals, which he actually netted one in last night. Granted, it was empty net, but it was a beautiful empty netter. I don't even think it touched the ice until it got into the net. He is a player that Maryland is going to have to contain if they're going to want to take care of business today.
The shorthanded goals leader, by the way, is Cam Kazai. As Maryland trying to fire one on, that one hit a skate, and then another shot fired quickly by Pilkington goes out of play, sticked away by Forrest. A face-off coming here.
And of all the lines for Maryland so far this postseason, I think that this second line has actually been the best at generating chances, especially off the rush. We saw the game winner last night from Grant Warner off of the rush. That's something that Virginia Tech is going to have to contain.
Shot low, that one is saved, but getting the rebound is Maryland. They'll keep this possession going. Stick went flying. believe it was Austin Hearn's stick. He's able to retrieve it. Gavin Peduzzi now in this top line for Virginia Tech out. Peduzzi has it taken away from him down underneath the red line. Maryland carrying in, but on the change. So Pilkington sends it out of play, but Maryland was changing lines anyway, so he was all alone, 1-on-3. This will be an offensive zone face-off, though, for the Terrapins.
And Luke Mohan out there for the Terps. We just talked about how he's really good from the dot. Let's see if that continues today.
That was a contested face-off. That's one of those where I don't know if you know what the clear winner is on the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech, though, ultimately came up with possession. Gets it deep, though excellent work from Eli Petter, who scored a goal yesterday. Not to say, I mean, all goals are kind of hard-working, as was his. It was a big team effort on that first one. Shot on opportunity, well played on the angle by Forrest. But when he scored that first goal yesterday, it's a lot of follow-up, right? It was just a long possession for Maryland and had to contest with a couple of blocked shots and had to keep winning puck battles. And ultimately, Petter got in a chance to shoot one from distance through some traffic that got through.
Yeah, and talking about that goal, whoa, look out, Maryland. Maryland is doing a really good job at just establishing offensive zone time right now. It seems like every single line has had it their way so far, and the only chances for Virginia Tech have come off of the rush.
What's been impressive about this Maryland team is, again, there were moments where in that first game they kind of labored a little bit, and since then they have arguably been better since the early stages of that first game, and that's always dangerous when a team in a tournament is getting better and better as it goes along.
Yeah, certainly. It seemed like Wilmington completely outplayed Maryland. I mean, the shots were 59-20, and they just ran into Jack Pharisee.
That they did. A couple of turnovers here, but Virginia Tech not able to take advantage. That puck has had some bounce to it early on here in the first period. We're already 6 minutes gone by. Very few stoppages in what has been a quick-moving first period without any goals and only 6 shots to speak of. Opportunity for Virginia Tech as they enter the zone cleanly but can't get the shot off cleanly. Nice job dancing the line there. That was Gavin now, and now, of course, a very talented freshman, and you're going to hear that a lot today with both of these teams. That's really been kind of the story of this tournament, I think, among all the winners who made it to the semifinals, how many talented underclassmen were contributing.
Yes, certainly. In Maryland, they're
shot on, and that one is gloved by Forrest, you were saying.
Yeah. Maryland, their player of the tournament so far has been Pharisee, and he's a freshman. We heard Finn touch on that earlier today. Pharisee's been a really big contributor, and then even Grant Warner, he was the one who netted home the overtime winner yesterday. And then even non-freshman Patrick Harnon has been contributing a lot for the Terps. He's a sophomore, and Virginia Tech, they have a handful of studs. Jackson Lagas, I believe he's a sophomore. He's been incredible, and he's obviously the defensive player of the year for a reason. He's leads all defensemen in the ACC HL in scoring.
You are correct. He is a sophomore and plays, I'd say, a lot older than that. Just very, very smart in both ends. Rush chance on, and this one gloved without issue by Forrest. But Maryland has had some chances here. A little conversation there going on between Schrademan and Pilkington.
Yeah, this second line for Maryland, I talked about it a little bit earlier. They've been incredible off of the rush. That is where Virginia Tech is going to have to contain this line specifically. They don't really establish a lot of zone time. A lot of their best chances come on the rush.
That shot didn't get through from Brian Teskey. Maryland still with possession, though, trying to establish the cycle now in zone. Comes out into the slot. Looks like Virginia Tech is going to be able to clear, break out, send the other way, and send it deep and get a couple of player changes themselves. Not a full change, but they do at least get the pairs changed. Like Murphy McLeod is out there. I believe McLeod is their extra skater.
And Virginia Tech is certainly starting to settle in a lot better as this period has gone on.
Hokies able to get out of the zone without any particular danger on that last possession. Maryland trying a little bit of a stretch pass to Mohan. Mohan giving chase now after he made the initial deflection to send it deep. But they won't be able to establish possession, retreating back to the neutral zone. This one Chipped down, gloved by the netminder, who sticks it aside for one of his teammates. Virginia Tech now. Slick little move there and an opportunity developing. Firing one on, no problem for Pharisee. He has seen a lot less rubber to start here than we have become accustomed to.
Yeah. And even yesterday, the first period or so, when when Maryland was getting out, or when Maryland and Rowan were going up against each other, Maryland, I thought they were the better team for the first 20 minutes, but Rowan was out shooting them 11-6. So it's a little bit of unfamiliar territory for the Terps, being the team with the more shots so far as we're approaching the halfway point of this period.
And since this was an icing, they're not going to bring us to immediate timeout here. But worth noting, we actually had the same kind of thought here up in the broadcast booth. We thought Maryland had the better of it, despite trailing on the sharp margin in that first period, as Maryland's able to get this out of the zone, so no issue after the icing. 7-3, the shot counter right now. Nothing overly dangerous, really, for either side at the moment. Has been mostly quantity, and these sides feeling each other out.
Yeah, both of these teams are tremendous off the rush, and so that's the key for both of these teams, to try and prevent as many rush opportunities, and both teams have done a really good job at that.
Yeah, you can see it back. Defenders kind of clogging the neutral zone. That was a long one that doesn't get all the way for icing, but a bad turnover in the slot. Shot whizzes past Pharisee, but wide. Another turnover. Virginia Tech opportunity. Great hit laid by Chase Wilson again to separate man from puck.
Yeah, and Wilson, really good job there at kind of bailing out Andrew Wallace. Andrew Wallace has not been a regular in the lineup for Maryland, but Maryland is without typical top four pairing defenseman Andre Serra for this tournament. Wallace has done a fantastic job through the first two games of this tournament, but a bad turnover there nearly resulted in a grade A chance for Virginia Tech.
It's a great call. Wallace, by the way, who had a huge shot block on the sequence that led to the game-winning goal for Maryland yesterday.
And that's been really what he's been doing best so far this tournament. Against Wilmington, probably have to use two hands to count the amount of blocked shots that Wallace had.
Long stretch pass, that one to nobody, really to space, but there was a Maryland defender, Caleb Craven, in that space. He sends it back deep.
Very close chance there for Harnan on the backhand.
But doesn't connect for a shot on goal, so we're still sitting at that 7-3 margin. Virginia Tech gains the zone. A carry-in opportunity here around the boards. Working back towards the blue line. Shot on, doesn't get through. Great work there on the block. That was Travis Duchesne. And this one fired from distance, winds up getting on net. They'll count that as a shot. And they'll count that as a save. Probably one of the easier ones Pharisee has had so far over these 3 days. Pass into the slot. Opportunity if they can corral the puck. And cannot. This one cleared out. Likely going to be an icing here unless, let's see, very close. Wow, Maryland nearly beat that one out. I believe that was Michael Schraebman who turned on the Jets right at the end of the play, but couldn't quite wave off that icing.
Yeah, Schreibman, he's an incredible skater. He's probably the best pure skater for the Terps overall on this forward crew, and he showed off his speed there. And he's a guy who last season was all over the score sheet. This year, a little bit of a step back, but he's kind of found his role. He's turned into a much better defensive forward this year than he was a year ago.
I got a chance to talk with Joey Mullen, who folks just saw on screen before the game, and if you were watching yesterday's broadcast, you know that his kids made certain score predictions, and his daughter was actually pretty close to getting the Rowan one right as this one whizzes wide, shot through some traffic. Virginia Tech trying to establish possession here. Into the slot. That one goes just past the outstretched stick of Evan Andrew. He didn't have a chance there, so Maryland back the other way. They'll go for a change now, one in deep just to force the issue. But I got the score prediction today, and we'll see how they do. His son is predicting something a little more high-scoring than what we've seen so far. So we'll see if the prognosticators get this one right again. Two very good coaches, Mullen and Joe Carter for Maryland. Done great work to get this team here, and these teams here, I should say, as Virginia Tech turnover, opportunity, shot on. That might be the most dangerous one Pharisee has seen. He makes the stop. Wasn't able to control the rebound. But
and that was Pharisee's biggest issue yesterday. 2 of the 3 goals that Rowan scored were off of rebounds, so he's got to make sure he controls them better today.
It was a big moment yesterday for Maryland. They went down 3-2 in the third period of that game, Owen, as I think we are not getting our first penalty, though. There was some hope for it on the ice. Maryland going the other way. They'll go for a change here. But down 3-2 in the third period after having led the majority of the way, easily could have packed it in and said, well, better team turned it on. Or let me rephrase, the higher-seeded team turned it on, not the better team. Higher-seeded team turned it on, and that's just that. And kudos to Maryland, the resiliency that they showed, the mental and physical resiliency they showed to go out, find that equalizer, and then win it in overtime.
Yeah, and it was the equalizer for Patrick Harnon. In my opinion, it was the best goal of the tournament up until around an hour later when Austin Hearn scored a just magnificent shorthanded goal where he made everyone on Penn State look silly on that one. But Harnon, I said it during the game, he was a little quiet, and he's one of Maryland's best forwards. He was their nominee for Forward of the Year in the ACCHL, and he turned it on late, and that's what really set the Terps over the edge.
That puck was riding the top of the
for a while.
Yeah. Eventually came down off the, I don't even know what you call that part where it meets that's not really stanchion material, but the top of the board, I guess we'll call it, where the rim meets the glass, sure. But it was riding it like a roller coaster. Nonetheless, still scoreless here. 14 minutes nearly gone by in the first. As this one fired from distance again, Pharisee sure happy to take the warm-up there.
Yeah, and the back half of this period has been a lot more Virginia Tech focused. It seems like they have settled in well. They've had a lot of offensive puck possession, and there's a really good shot from the point.
Haven't allowed any more of those rush chances either we saw early in the first for Maryland. This one fired from a bad angle. Pharisee, no problem with that either. Again, talk about it, he just doesn't seem to have any real panic in his game. And it does feel like, in a way, as this one is flipped all the way up, opportunity for James Body. And Body, that's an excellent defensive effort by Lagas to erase Body's chance there. Then Lagas goes down. Body still fighting for it. High effort play. Nobody in the slot to accept his pass. Virginia Tech can't quite clear this one, though. Opportunity now for Schreibman. Again, fires this one and maybe got a glove on it, but not all of it. It goes behind the net for Forrest. Maryland getting a little bit of pressure on here, though. Finally, Virginia Tech able to clear. And now back comes Austin Hearn. 3 goals in this tournament. His shot on is swallowed by Pharisee, so we're going to step aside. Late here in the first period, scoreless in the championship game between Virginia Tech and Maryland. Back in just a few minutes here on AAU+. Back here on AAU+, Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak, and ringside right now is Finn Trainer. Scoreless in this one, Finn. It's been a pretty fast-paced first period, though.
It really has been. It seems like Maryland has come out of the gate hungry and ready for this win, while on the other side of the ice is Virginia Tech, who seems to be kind of feeling out Maryland's defense and their offense. They've gotten a lot more shots here in the later half of the period, but both teams have really just been trying to see which one is going to make the first mistake, and no one has so far. Both of these goalies, however, have been playing absolutely phenomenally, saving a bunch of really good shots off the help of the defense as well. I know Tucker Forrest, he played played in the same exact game last year against Penn State. So seeing him in another championship is very good for the Hokies. And Pharisee, having coming off that U11 national championship as well, both of these goalies have dealt with strong games, and these games that are incredibly hard to play.
Thanks, Finn. And it looks like, it's funny, as you were saying, a great save from Pharisee, and I think we're going to have our first penalty of this one coming against Maryland. So Virginia Tech is going to go on the power play first. And as Finn mentioned, Owen, kind of waiting to see who was going to make the first mistake. That's probably the first real mistake of this game for the Terrapins.
Yeah, and that's on Tommy Pilkington. And Pilkington had a little bit of an up-and-down season. He started this season not even in the lineup. He kind of just got put into the lineup by default, a few injuries for the Terps, and he just never gave his spot up. He averaged half a point per game, 6 goals, and 6 assists.
Good save
in
there.
around 24 games, and yeah, that's a great save by Pharisee.
Again, he just looks calm, cool, and collected. That one didn't get to the netminder cleanly. He still sticks it away into the corner nonetheless. So Virginia Tech here with 1:40 on the power play on the Pilkington minor. Let's see what they can do here. Working around behind the net. This is a very talented special teams unit. They've gotten better as the tournament seemingly has gone on. Had some issues yesterday against Penn State's power kill, though.
Yeah, and on the great chance there for Virginia Tech, but special teams has kind of been the name of the game for Virginia Tech so far.
This one fired, and I don't think that one got through to Pharisee. I think Maryland made the block there.
But yeah, Virginia Tech has a lot of high-end skaters. You know, they're very top-heavy, and we're going to see it a lot here. You're going to see a lot of puck movement and a lot of really good chances given the amount of offensive skill this team has.
In tight, another attempted shot. Pharisee made a couple of stops, and it's behind the net. Couple of players down. Great stick.
Ooh.
So hold on.
Yeah, Patrick Harnon down for Maryland. That is a player the Terps cannot afford to lose.
So excellent defensive play there, down a second man.
Yeah.
Because Harnon was on the ice.
And
he was down. Come off,
and he was right in front of Pharisee, and Virginia Tech had around 3 or 4 whacks at it, and Pharisee just didn't let go. Here's another look. And yeah, there's one chance. And yeah, Harnon went down, and then Sean Amen actually skated into him. Hopefully Harnon's okay. Like I said, he's still on the ice. So yeah, he's the first line center. He's one of the leading scorers on this team. Had the game tying goal yesterday late on the power play conveniently, even though Maryland's on the kill right now. But that's somebody the Terps really need at full strength.
Pharisee decides that he has seen enough as that shot whistled past him and then took a weird ricochet behind the net. Virginia Tech trying some low to high stuff off of the face-off. 47 seconds remaining on the power play. 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the period.
And the last time these two teams faced off, Maryland actually scored a shorthanded goal. It was Travis Duchesne on the kill. Kind of broke free. It was a one-on-one, a shot that went top right corner. In that game, Virginia Tech won the season series 2-0, but I don't think that either team is really thinking about that. We've seen a lot of teams who've lost both games in the regular season come out and defeat the team in the playoff.
That is true, as this one is cleared by Maryland. That's a big clear for the Terps. And going back to get it for Virginia Tech, that was Murphy McLeod. So McLeod out right now with Gavin now. McLeod gets wiped out now. Sticks that one and then takes it back. Now back to the point. Looking for a shooting lane. We know Maryland's big story in that first game was the block shots. They block another one there.
Yeah, and Joe Carter, the message he's telling his team is that defense wins championships. You're going to see Maryland be a little bit more conservative than Virginia Tech today. And their goal is to deny as many shots getting to the net. And there is a really good chance for Virginia Tech and some post-whistle activity, as you would like to say.
Yes, we can no longer call it extracurricular because I think it's part of the curriculum. But Pharisee able to make the save. Puck kind of flipped up on him. So that is it for the power play, though. And Maryland does a good job on the kill. Pilkington is out of the box. And we'll get a look here.
He's right back on the ice.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll get a look here at this unit now. Offensive zone faceoff for the Hokies, but faceoff is won by Maryland. Took a second to figure out who was going to win that one, and now the Terrapins trying on the rush here. This is Schreibman. Backhanded that one, sticked away by Forrest. Into the corner. Virginia Tech able to come up with it. They'll move the other direction. slowed down by the Terrapins for just a moment. That was Grant Warner, who had the game winner yesterday. Warner fired one on, and then off the rebound, a chance. Couldn't get a stick on it in the slot. Virginia Tech back the other way. Evan Andrew had it for a moment, lost it. Puck going into the corner now, trying to set up the cycle for the Hokies. They've had the better of possession for the last little while here in the first period. Say the first half of the period kind of belonged to Maryland. Second half of the period kind of belonged to Virginia Tech. Nobody has been rewarded for either of their success.
Yeah, and the shots have evened out at 9 apiece here. But Maryland has looked good off the rush here with this line.
They sure have, and there's Patrick Harnon. Takes a little shot at the end of that play, and Virginia Tech now moving, trying off the rush themselves. Maryland has good numbers back. This one backhanded on Pharisee, and then a quick whack at the pads, but Pharisee was not letting that one get out of his glove easily. So shot number 10, save number 10, 1:12 to go, scoreless here.
Yeah, that was a good rush opportunity there for Cam Kazai, a junior from McLean, Virginia. And we talked about the rush being important for both teams. We see both teams have really good chances off the rush in about a 45-second time frame.
And boy, can Kazai skate.
Yeah, showed off his speed there, and then went for another whack at it when the puck was loose in front of Pharisee.
This one's sent deep. Don't think we're going to get an icing here. No. Redirected off of somebody and then eventually flipped out of the zone and out of play. I think it went off the glove of a Virginia Tech player. I think that went off the glove of Takra and into the Maryland bench, but nonetheless, we're now under a minute to go here. I'm racking my brain. I don't know if we've had a scoreless first period in this entire tournament.
I think Maryland and Wilmington was scoreless after one, and then the Terps got the first goal of the game
in
late
the second. Okay.
So yeah, Terps are familiar to playing low scoring style. I mean, yesterday's game, it looked like it was going to be another 1-2 type of game, and then third period explosion. Both teams able to put up a few goals.
Icing here against Virginia Tech. It was a long stretch pass trying to set up Austin Hearn, who's been so good, as previously mentioned. You talked about that shorthanded goal yesterday, and certainly he is a candidate for tournament MVP with the way he has played.
Yeah, another candidate is definitely Gavin Peduzzi. He's got 5 goals in 2 games.
Offensive zone face-off for Maryland now. Yeah, Peduzzi's been terrific.
And Peduzzi at the dot, he's going to...
I thought they were going to toss him, but...
Yeah.
No, instead, Maryland wins this one cleanly. Shot on from the point does not get through. Finally lands just outside that left dot. Big hit, and this is going to be another penalty on Pilkington. I think he might have gotten the elbow up a little bit, and this will be touched up. So down to the final 17 seconds. Won't have very long, but an O-zone faceoff coming for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and Joe Carter is not going to be pleased with Pilkington here. That's a second penalty. Probably could have avoided the first one. Was definitely a little bit extra from Pilkington, and then right there just didn't contain himself. And Maryland going back to the kill, but their last kill did look very good. Let's see if Virginia Tech is able to capitalize on another Terp mistake.
Virginia Tech had a couple of what I would call high-danger moments, but they didn't really turn into high-danger chances. There was maybe one really good one, point-blank in front.
Only 17 seconds left on the clock for the period. So if you're Maryland, you're probably pretty. If you were to take a penalty at one point in the game, this isn't a horrible time to do it, just because you'll have the break, you have the intermission, and it's a little bit harder to set up a power play when starting at center ice. But I think we're going to have a review.
Yeah, they are reviewing this.
Yeah, they actually gave him a 5-minute major. And so they're going to look at it. Pilkington is leaving the box. But we saw actually yesterday in Maryland's game, they did look over a 5-minute major, and it got completely overturned. Pilkington, I don't think he can believe that he got 5 minutes for that. We'll have to take a
Yeah, I will admit that in real time, I thought that was a minor, and you are correct. They threw the major 5 up on the board. That would be an absolutely massive moment in this game and would completely change the outlook for how the second period would potentially start, and certainly how this first period would end. If we're going to see what they are seeing here.
Maybe a hit to the head they're looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're going to be able to overturn that. You got an elbow to the head.
Yeah, so I guess my one thought there is player's a little low. He's not really protecting himself.
Yeah, maybe they lower it to a 2-minute minor.
Yeah, I think
just elbowing.
At least a 2 for sure. But I'll be curious to see whether or not this stands as a 5. I think they are absolutely correct in that he absolutely got him in the head, though.
Yeah, like you said, Hearn kind of lowers himself. And then Pilkington kind of lowers himself, too. This will be an interesting call. You got to remember, if there's not conclusive evidence to overturn, they're not going to overturn it.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing, and I don't think we have the other angle, I wouldn't mind seeing a different angle just to see if from behind if it looks the same.
We're going to have the call. Oh, and they're overturning the penalty. Yeah, wow, nope. Yeah, they're gonna completely take the penalty off the board, I believe. Wow, a little bit of a surprise there. Unless, Pilkington's still having a word with the officials, so I'm a little.
Unless, is this a misconduct?
Oh, they're throwing him out of the game. Wow, that is a huge loss for the Terps. Wow.
In the championship game, they are sending him. Yeah. So we'll have to get the final word on.
Well, for the Terps, they're lucky Cam Horan is the extra skater, and he is very familiar with playing all over the lineup for the Terps on the penalty kill, on the power play. So you're going to see him on the ice. I almost wonder, having watched a lot of Terps games this year, so there's not going to be a minor penalty. They're just going to throw out Pilkington with the game misconduct.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there is a penalty. James Body is going to the box kind of as a reserve.
He will serve the penalty for. So, all right, wow. So a major on the board.
If I had to predict what would happen for Maryland now, I would expect the third-line right-wing Colin Doherty to move up into Pilkington's spot and then see Cam Horan on the third line with Romps and Mohan. Obviously, we're going to be getting a coach maybe after the period ends, but...
Yeah. Good work from Maryland, though, on this penalty kill. They have allowed nothing in these 17 seconds, so they had to come out and win those 17 seconds and did exactly that. But Virginia Tech will get 4 minutes and 43 seconds when the second period begins, unhindered. And we'll get a chance also to talk with Finn here momentarily, find out what he saw from his angle. He was obviously rinkside. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick break for the moment? It is scoreless in the championship game here between Virginia Tech and Maryland, but the big story after it was all said and done, a major and a misconduct for Tommy Pilkington, who has been tossed and was sent to the locker room. We will step aside here on AAU Plus. Scoreless here, back in a moment. We have Coach Joe Carter with us now here on AAU Plus. Coach, well played first period, but we obviously have to talk about the penalty at the end there. From your perspective, what happened on that Pilkington call?
You know, it's a bang-bang play against the boards. You see it 1,000 times in a game. I honestly think the refs got the call wrong there. The rulebook has a mitigating factor. If you duck into a hit like that, it wipes out the 5.
Yeah, that's what actually we were talking about up here, right? That we thought maybe the player was a little bit low. That could have easily been a minor for sure, but not necessarily a major. So I guess the question now is what's next for you guys? How do you replace that loss?
Well, we have an extra skater on the bench. We were prepared for this, so he just moves up, slots into that lineup, and we get right back to business.
And, Coach, the extra skater being Cam Horan, he's had a lot of experience playing all over the lineup this year. Is it just going to be him slotting right back into the Pilkington spot, or is it going to be a little bit of more movement?
No, we'll just slot him right back in there. It helps keep the chemistry with the other lines.
All right, Coach, very good. Appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That's Coach Joe Carter of Maryland, and yeah, that is a big loss, but the extra skater helps in any circumstance, though. Again, I will say, you mentioned it earlier, I agree with you. Every time Pilkington was out there, I thought they were really noticeable throughout this tournament. That line for Maryland in terms of consistently generating rush chances, that had probably been the best one throughout. We're going to check in here with Finn Trainer in just a moment. I think he's back on the mic. Finn, you were down there. Obviously, you saw the penalty. What did it look like from your perspective?
It was a very odd one to see. I mean, you could definitely tell that the Hokie player did lean a little bit into it. So I agree with the Maryland coach there, where that is a very hard call to actually make on the ice. But at the same time, going back and reviewing that and seeing that there is that rule in the rule book that says that should be dropped down to a minor. So they also might just be calling that because of some other angle that they might have seen as well. That can change a lot of different conversations that refs have, and could have just been something that we didn't see, could have been something that was said afterwards as well. They also might just be trying to make sure that this entire game is as clean as possible. So
yeah, very good. Finn, one last thing before we step aside. So obviously we've been talking about the goalies kind of ad nauseum in this one, but certainly Pharisee and Forrest, they faced a lot of what I would almost jokingly describe as warm-up shots early in the first period, but then as it went on, the chances got a little bit better. Both goalies stood tall to the task.
Yeah, both of these teams definitely feeling each other out. It's been a while since either team have played each other. It dates all the way back to November, and so they're definitely trying to see what the other team has in store, especially since it is the third game of a tournament. That can always be a tired game for either team. I mean, Tech coming out of the game that they played, and it was a late game last night as well. But Maryland also has played this same line with this same goalie in the same position. So I think we'll definitely see what happens in the second period. We'll see which team ends up turning the lights on and going forward for the rest of the time. And that's really the chance for both of these teams, is which team can come out of the gates as fast as possible in that second period.
4 minutes and 43 seconds of a major coming up, and we appreciate it, Finn. We'll check back in with you a little bit later. 4 minutes and 43 seconds of a major penalty left for Virginia Tech, so they will get a chance on the power play to do some serious damage. Before we go to break, Owen, I guess the big key here is for Maryland. How do you have to play this major penalty here? Because this is going to be maybe the most difficult stretch of hockey they've played so far in this tournament.
Well, their penalty kill has been really, really good so far this tournament. They killed a handful of penalties against Wilmington. They killed some penalties last night against my mind almost just slipped. Against Rowan, they played right. Really well on the kill, and then even so far, we already saw them kill one, and it, like you said, it was a lot of maybe high danger potential chances, but not any actual high danger chances. So it'll certainly be something to watch. But Maryland, they have a very aggressive penalty kill. Don't be surprised if you see, Patrick Harnon or Travis Duchesne try and pick off a pass. I mentioned it earlier. Travis Duchesne had a shorthanded goal against Virginia Tech when they met in November. So a lot of stuff is on the table right now for both of these teams. But the biggest thing is that this isn't all you can eat power play. This isn't just you score, Maryland gets the player back. If you score once, you can keep adding on to that with the man advantage.
In many ways, it's almost a win if you can limit it to just one. Obviously, the coaching staff would probably prefer 0. The main goal is not to allow multiple goals, which is exactly, if you're Virginia Tech, what you're thinking here is, can we take advantage of this massive opportunity ahead? And then down the road, the fact that Pilkington will be out of the lineup for the rest of this game. That said, we'll step aside here scoreless in the first intermission now of this championship game between Virginia Tech and Maryland. We'll come back with the second period and much more analysis on the other side of this break on AAU Plus and YouTube. Moments away from the start of the second period here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Day 3, the final day of this 3-day tournament. Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak, and Finn Trainer is ringside for us. We'll check back in with Finn a little bit later. And Owen, scoreless through the first. Obviously, there's a huge moment coming up, a 4-minute and 43-second span remaining of a major penalty. We're going to get to that in a moment, but it's also worth noting that these are two teams where we're not 100% sure that if they don't win this tournament, they're moving on to the next round. Virginia Tech certainly with a much better chance of it if they don't win today. Maryland, for them, this penalty kill is huge. They have to win this tournament more than likely to move on to the next stage of the postseason.
Yeah, so the winner of each conference will get an auto bid, and then it's, I believe, the next 14 highest seeded teams. So Maryland is on the outside looking in. They came into this weekend ranked at 20. Now, with the wins over Rowan and the wins over UNC Wilmington, they will certainly move up, but they probably won't be able to move up 6 spots. That would be a lot. You look at the other teams in this tournament. Penn State came in at number 7. Even with the loss last night, they're probably still safely in it. Rowan came in this weekend at number 11. They might not have
on the
that
bubble.
spot. Yeah, they're on the bubble. You know, losing to Maryland yesterday certainly didn't help their case. And then High Point, they were on the outside looking in, losing the first round in the fashion they did. Certainly doesn't help them. Virginia Tech, they came into this weekend number 15, so they obviously dominated High Point. And then last night, they did defeat Penn State, probably not in the fashion they would have liked to, considering how strong they started. But they, like you said, certainly have a better chance of moving on with a loss than the Terps would.
So now they have 4 minutes and 20 seconds of a major power play here for Virginia Tech. We'll see what these Hokies can do. We'll see what these Terps can do as the second period is officially underway here. From the half wall, back to the blue line, shot on. That one whizzes past Pharisee. And in the slot, there's number 1. Puck got loose in the slot and fired home by who else? Gavin Peduzzi might be the front runner for tournament MVP, and Pharisee letting up a goal. You may want to let Peduzzi keep the puck.
Yeah, it was a lot of great puck movement by Virginia Tech. Pharisee slid a little bit too much, or too close to the near post. The Hokies were able to wrap that puck around, send it to Peduzzi right in front. We'll take another look. Oh, excuse me, never mind. But we'll take a look here at Joe Carter.
I think we'll get another look here in just a moment.
Yeah.
We'll check in on that in just a second. But there's still 4 minutes precisely to go on the power play. So Peduzzi.
And you just said at the break, Maryland would be lucky to give up 1. Oh, here's a high danger chance.
And there is the shorty. Wow, a turnover right in the slot, and Maryland responds almost instantaneously. James Romps, and we are even at 1. 18 seconds difference.
Wow, what a response from Maryland. James Romps. We talked about puck luck 2 nights ago for the Terps. There's some more. Romps the puck right to him. I don't think Tucker Forrest was ready for it. We take a look at the coaching staff from Virginia Tech. He is not happy. Wow, what a response from Maryland. We were just talking about how Virginia Tech, they have the chance to go all you can eat there. It was just a dump in.
And just look at that, bounces over the stick. And we're officially back underway, and Maryland putting a little more pressure on. That puck did.
Oh, my goodness. That went off the iron.
And that puck came out of the zone, too. So it would have been an offside, but it would have, in that instance, would have, I believe, counted since it was untouched. Either way, what a bizarre power play. And then we now have an offside call here for Virginia Tech. So that puck will come out of the zone for the faceoff in the neutral zone dot nearest to us and nearest to the penalty boxes. Okay, well, that woke everybody
a lot. Yeah,
up.
that woke me up, certainly. We went from no action to a bunch of action. We're only 1 minute and 23 seconds in.
2 goals, 18 seconds apart, a power play and a shorty. And in the wake of all of this, a major penalty still being killed here by Maryland.
Oh, look at Patrick Harnon racing down.
And he is going to, I think, win this. Gets there, though, is then pinned to the board. So puck comes away for Virginia Tech. Lands in the skates of Hearn. Hearn comes back up with it, fires one. That one doesn't go, and then flipped over the netminder, but doesn't go. Virginia Tech now establishing possession. Chance here for the Hokies. Down right by the red line, trying to pass that into the slot. Didn't get through. Back out to the point. Opportunity developing for Virginia Tech. Brian Rice sends that one down. Cam Kazai Kazai to the slot. One-timer fired. Good save there. Not sure Peduzzi got all of that one.
Maryland, they're going to have to change quick. Virginia Tech, well, they had an opportunity there to maybe catch Maryland in a change.
So they'll set this up one more time. Virginia Tech, half the power play now gone. They scored one, but then gave one back on a just devastating turnover at the blue line. Passed it towards the dot. No chance for a shot. Wasn't handled cleanly. This one fired. Redirected. Pharisee made the first save and then gets a little help to cover it up. That one was bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, and right before that whole sequence, Gavin now had a wide open net. If the pass was perfect, it wasn't. He wasn't able to try the one-timer. And that would have been obviously going up here in the second period would have been huge for the Hokies.
Maryland able to clear that one. 150 remaining here on this power play. Major power play, so a goal does not end it.
A lot of action here going on. Ooh, nice glove save there by Jack Pharisee.
So Pharisee saves it, and Maryland has survived a big chunk of this power play.
Last 3 days, there was a game. On this exact rink right before Maryland and Virginia Tech got to warm up, and so despite it only being almost 2 p.m., there have been a lot of legs on the ice so far.
We talked about it before the game. There's just not enough ice in America. I need to build more rinks. Everybody needs ice time, and they'll take it at the weirdest times. This one fired on by Lagas, blocked by Maryland. Another one fired. That one wide of the net, open net, shot on. That one flipped up on Lagas. He had an open net. Pharisee looked like he was beaten dead to rights down on the ice. Still a chance here for Virginia Tech. Trying to set one up in the slot. Stick goes flying.
Wow. What a sequence there. I mean, wow. Virginia Tech had 4 or 5 grade A chances. Somehow the Terps were able to not give up a single one, and it was the shot blocking that really did it.
Little overpassing there, and Maryland's going to be able to clear the zone again. Virginia Tech not able to get a shot off in that last sequence. 10 seconds to go. One last opportunity. Pharisee's going to glove this one down to 9 seconds when this offensive zone faceoff happens. But wow, what a sequence. Maryland has been able to kill 4 minutes and 51 seconds of this major power play.
And here's another look there. There was a great chance there. That was for Kazai. And a stick went free, and that was Hearn's stick, and maybe that was the difference. I mean, Austin Hearn is an incredible player for Virginia Tech, especially in this tournament. He would probably convert that. Ooh, we might have another penalty.
No hands are up, so that's a clean hit. And some sticks getting caught up in body.
He can't even get out of the box.
He's trapped in the penalty box here. Shot on, that one wide of the net, but that is it. So 1 goal apiece. That's not what you're looking for if you're Virginia Tech. Scored early in the power play and then gave it right back 18 seconds later. And Body just trying to get this one deep a little bit. Finally does, then battling a little bit with a Hokie at the blue line. So we'll settle into some 5-on-5 play. Who knows for how long.
Yeah, and we see Cam Horan on the ice for the first time this afternoon. On that second line, like Coach Joe Carter said, we had some speculation maybe he would move into the third line. Doherty goes to line number 2. But no, Carter stays true to his word.
This one not quite cleared out. Maryland's second chance to get this one out. Good breakout there. They're going to send it deep to get a line change here.
They're also going to get an offensive zone faceoff out of all of that.
So let's see who the Terps have come out with. Looks
it's going to be the third line, with Mohan. Their go-to face-off guy.
Romps and Doherty, and then Petter and Rakoskis pairing. Petter, again, reminder, scored a goal yesterday. Really liked Rakoskis' game as well. It's a pretty unassuming game.
He's been an under-the-radar player for Maryland this year. He's been really solid on the blue line. He's not going to put up any flashy stats. He's just a lockdown defense guy. And, Maryland, they like to mix those guys up with players like Petter, who, they have a little bit more offensive upside. We see a pairing with Sean Amon and Andrew Wallace. Those two are a little bit more defensive, but Sean Amon had a little bit of an unprecedented offensive explosion for his standards this year. He had 4 goals, and then obviously Teskey and Craven, they're able to do both.
Virginia Tech wins the faceoff in the defensive zone. See if they can escape the zone. They'll be able to, as carrying it the other way is West Valent, the 4th line center for Virginia Tech. This gets all the way to Pharisee, so he'll cover it up, and that's a very good play for the fourth line of Virginia Tech, as you're just looking to find a way to transition from D to O, and they wind up creating an offensive zone face-off for the Hokies as they'll send out the Peduzzi line.
Yeah. Whenever the Peduzzi line is out there, you got to be extremely toned in if you're Maryland. Wow, great stick play there by Mohan.
It's going to lead to a potential 2-on-1. Pass through the slot was broken up. Nice work by by Virginia Tech, Still, though, threatening. Down low, that was Romps. And finally, Virginia Tech is going to be able to get this one out of the zone. So the Peduzzi line was out there for Virginia Tech with an O-zone faceoff. No capitalizing for the Hokies. That's a big play for Maryland. Still have Kazai and Peduzzi and Hearn out. Kazai sends deep. Probably going to give them an extended shift. They just came out.
And I don't know if it's because of being on the power play, but it just seems like Virginia Tech has been so dominant this period. Wow, what a save by Pharisee.
Shot from the slot won't go, and Pharisee now is up to, I believe that'll be save number 17 for him, as Virginia Tech's shot tally number starting to climb up in this second period. 13-16 remaining. Alex Wiederspiel here alongside Owen Korzak, and we'll check in ringside shortly with Finn Trainer. Another shot, that one whizzes wide. It was kept low, a little sifter, but nobody was able to find a stick on it. Virginia Tech maintaining possession here, back to the blue line, little one-timer shot. Again, looked like somebody got a stick on that one. I think it was Matthew Tulo who scored a goal yesterday in the win for Virginia Tech over Penn State, but Maryland back the other way. Opportunity developing here for Jack Hudrin.
He got driven into the boards there.
Yeah. Virginia Tech back the other way. And again, now that we're off of that power play, seems like we've settled back into this little back and forth. Another shot that whizzes wide. That one didn't look like it had much on it anyway. Now Maryland able to retake the puck. Taking a big hit there was Hernan. And puck is coming off net is coming off the mooring. I don't think the puck can come off the mooring.
A lot happening there between the Hudrin hit in the Virginia Tech zone by the goal line, and then Virginia Tech coming back the other way. Maryland with another good chance there. Patrick Harnan, who is out there with Blake Warner, who, that fourth line winger. Here's another look there. Yeah, they kind of collided into each other. Harnan, a little bit too much razzle-dazzle for his own good there, but a great defensive play there by the sophomore Max Sullivan.
So the Sullivan erasure going to ultimately lead to that net coming off the moorings. Virginia Tech going to take it out the other direction, see if anything can happen here. Worth noting that, we talked about it early in the first period about the way these two teams have been playing defensively. They had been kind of limiting the rush chances, and that's been, I think, more true for Maryland here in the second period so far in the limited 5-on-5 action we've had. Virginia Tech has had a little bit of trouble getting to that rush game.
Yeah, but they've done a really good job at just sustaining offensive zone possession. I mean, Maryland, they've really not had any offense besides a few rushes this period. Obviously, Virginia Tech was on the power play, and I think we're going to maybe...
That's nice.
Yeah, that is an icing, so we're not going to go to the media timeout quite yet. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from both of these teams. Like you touched on, Maryland, they're doing what they want to do. They're on the rush, but Virginia Tech, they've settled down. They're definitely a lot more comfortable in this game than Maryland is right now, but the Terps maybe will be able to catch some Hokies here. A little tired. They got some of their top guys out there right now.
Grant Wanner to take the face-off here. No 5-on-5 goals yet in this game. A power play and a shorthanded goal. Power play goal for Virginia Tech on the major against Tommy Pilkington.
Bit of icing again, yep.
Yeah, he's going to win the race, so we'll do that all over again. That was Caleb Craven who ultimately won the race, and he had bearing down on him Gavin Peduzzi. That's a tough guy to win a foot race with, even when you've got a lead. And then the shorty, though, for Maryland, James Romps scored it 18 seconds after the power play goal. And that's it. That is all the scoring here so far. 1-1 as we're closing in on the midway point of the second period and the midway point of regulation. Virginia Tech hasn't been able to get this out of the zone. Maryland, good job at the blue line, pinching in. Excellent play there by Cam Haran. The extra skater who, as you mentioned, is slotting into the top six now. after the Pilkington major and misconduct. He is done. Ewan Andrew crossed the blue line there, but unable to corral the puck. Good breakout, then firing one on to the net from
look out,
way far away. Quick little change. This is the period of the long change, worth noting as well. So both teams get fresh bodies out on the ice here. Down closing in on 10.5 minutes to go in the second. Batting it back and forth. No hand pass, though, as it went from a Terp to a Hokie. Shot on through traffic. Might have gotten through. Pharisee, I think, made the save. And Maryland comes up with possession. Little hit there. Takes down Luke Mohan. Puck comes back up to Romp. Slick little pass there. Little move to the outside. Now to the net. Opportunity. Oh, and the backhander goes over the shoulder of the netminder and over the crossbar. And we've got a whistle here for a stoppage. So that will take us to a media timeout. We'll step aside here, one apiece, midway through the second period on AAU Plus championship game action. Virginia Tech and Maryland in the ACCHL playoffs. One here. No 5-on-5 goals. A power play and a shorty. Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak. And ringside right now is Finn Trainer. And Finn, any differences you're noticing between the second period and the first period?
I talked about it in the intermission between in the media timeout that we had before and during the intermission, where it seems like both of these teams needed to come out, turn on the lights, and start going, and it seems like both of these teams really have. That power play for Maryland or for Virginia Tech was definitely a great opportunity. They got a goal off of a nifty little bit of a garbage goal for Peduzzi, but then going back the other way with a shorthanded goal for Maryland, that has been definitely the difference. That unfortunate for Virginia Tech, that turnover by Ewan Andrew came right in front of the goal, and it just seemed like a little bit of the gas was let up from Virginia Tech as they kind of slowed down way too early or way too fast, and that gave them a tied game going into the rest of the second period. But the Hokies definitely coming out with more speed after that mix-up and after that change. And you were talking about it earlier, where Maryland seems to have a lot more control over the breakaway chances, where Tech hasn't really been able to take those opportunities. But close and in tight, Tech has been able to really control the play, having more sustained action in their offensive zone.
Very good. Thanks, Finn, as Virginia Tech forces a turnover and then fires one just over the goaltender. And back here in the booth, Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak, and we're still even at one apiece here in the second period as Virginia Tech has set up a little bit of possession here at the blue line. Shot fired in this whole possession that they've had over the last minute or so. Only one shot on, though. They haven't been able to get much through this Maryland group. Another one on. Pharisee makes a save. It was loose in the slot for a moment, and Maryland's finally going to be able to clear the zone, and I think...
Yeah, we got a penalty coming up on Virginia Tech, I believe. A hook on Austin Hearn.
And he hates the call. I mean, I don't know of a hockey player who doesn't hate the call on them usually, but Austin Hearn, I mean, he was instantly protesting that one. Doesn't like it, but this will lead to a Maryland power play, which I believe is their first of the day.
Here's another look there, and...
yeah, he got him. That's a hook.
I don't know. He's going to plead his case, but I don't know how you can argue that. You got right in the stick of Warner. Warner fell down, and we got a
maybe he wants to make the argument that Warner went down too easy for a big guy, but you're not going to win that argument most times.
Yeah,
so.
I will say I think that Virginia Tech, they have been incredible shorthanded this year. They have this playoff, they've done a really good job at weirdly capitalizing on the penalty kill. And so that's just something to keep an eye out. They had 2 shorthanded goals last night. Granted, one of them was an empty netter.
Again, it's the old power kill, so let's see what Maryland can do here as that one flips up on Travis Duchesne. Maryland still able to maintain possession behind the Virginia Tech net. Now back out to the half wall. They'll go to the blue line. Trying to go through this Virginia Tech traffic, and nothing there. It didn't get through. Maryland still able to come up with possession, but no shot for Duchesne. Hard fought here by the Hokies on this penalty kill. Maryland still maintains the zone. Shot whizzed wide, and finally the Hokies able to clear this one down, but no, into the bench.
It might have actually, I think it hit number 5 for Virginia Tech. That's Tao Lanigan. I believe that hit him right in the helmet. He's getting looked at right away.
Ooh, little friendly fire there.
Hoping he's okay, but it will be I believe a Maryland offensive zone faceoff. It is going to be.
Yes, and it's like Michael Schrademan is going to take the faceoff here with James Romps to his right. Romps with that very timely goal off the turnover. Puck just flipped off the stick, and he was there to convert a shorty. Can he add another special teams goal? As Virginia Tech able to clear that one. Little backhander away. Long stretch pass for Maryland. Nice effort there into the slot, giving chase. And this sticked away into the corner, and Virginia Tech able to clear.
It's been a really good penalty kill so far. There were a few good chances for the Terps before the line changes, but since then, Maryland, they've gotten into the zone, maybe get one shot off. Not a good one, and Virginia Tech is doing, dangerous passing going on right here in Maryland's zone.
And it will be a turnover opportunity for Tech, and erased by the netminder Pharisee, allowing no possibility for Cam Kazai, the record holder for shorthanded goals at Virginia Tech, to get another one.
It was just a lot of really just poor passing by the Terps. I don't think they saw Kazai coming at all. Right there was a great job by Gavin Now to just force the Terps into a turnover, and then Kazai takes full advantage of it in just a fantastic glove save by Pharisee. That left glove of his has been incredible so far this tournament, and that was on full display right there.
Well, he has been alert no matter what, even on the power play. And certainly in this tournament, with how many shorties we've seen, he is needed to be. Every netminder has needed to be. Pharisee has done it. Maryland, can they convert here in the final 15 seconds of this power play? Teskey lost the puck, and now Virginia Tech looks like they had numbers for a moment, but good work on the back check by Maryland. This will not be an icing, but it will be the end of the power play, as coming out of the box.
Great pass by Hearn.
Wow, right out of the box, and that leads to a 2-on-1. Shot on, rolled up, and went wide. Oh, that's brutal for Virginia Tech. Now Maryland giving chase his body. He laid a pretty good lick on Schrademan, laid a pretty good lick on Sullivan.
Yeah, Sullivan was trying to give James Body a hit. Body used his body to deliver a bigger blow there.
And remember, Body got hurt as this one fired on and sticked away by Forrest. Body got hurt in late in the third period of the first game of the quarterfinal round. We weren't sure if we were going to see him yesterday, so it's good to see him wind up not missing any action at all except for a little bit of time in the third. This one brought down and fired wide by Jack Hudron. Might have just been putting it into the corner. Not sure that was a real shot attempt there. Little hit there at center ice. Maryland comes back up with the puck briefly, lost it. Now crossing the red line, back the other way. Good hit, and slowing down the attempt by Andrew Wallace. Firing this one straight into the goalkeeper. No problem for Forrest. I feel like we haven't called Forrest's name as much here in this second period, but we are going to get another icing. Another chance for an offensive zone faceoff for Maryland. 5:33 to go. 22-14 is the shot counter. Virginia Tech leading, but we just saw it there, and you mentioned it right out of the box. That was as slick as could be. Led to what essentially looked like a 2-on-0, and Virginia Tech, puck rolled up, couldn't convert. Maryland wins this faceoff. Stick goes flying. Terps with an opportunity here. That's Schrademan again, back to the blue line. This one bouncing around, and oh my goodness, that one redirected multiple times and finds its way in the back of the net. it's going to wind up being Cam Horan, the extra skater. Wow. I can't wait to see the replay on that one. That thing ping-ponged like crazy.
How many bounces did that take? That was just a shot at the point. And Horan might have just gotten the final piece of it. Here's the look. So Schreiben behind the net. Warner actually lost his stick. Puck goes to Petter. Shot went off of a Hokie stick. Horan might have gotten a second black at it. Wow, what a lucky play for the Terps. That's the second time that luck has been on their side there. Wow, my goodness. This game has been incredible. We're going to take another angle from behind. We're going to take a look at another angle from behind the net here in a second. But Cam Horan, wow, what a moment for him. He's been a healthy scratch this whole tournament. Comes in as the extra skater today. Just maybe Joe Carter was feeling a little, silly. Wanted to take out Facciano, put in Horan, and it ends up paying off. He said that they were ready for moments like this when, if they lose a skater, if Cam Horan needs to fill in, he is fully capable of doing so, and he showed that there.
We'll take a look at that replay in just a moment, but that is that's an incredible moment there for a young man who's been fighting for playing time. Virginia Tech now has to find the equalizer. This one shot on. Pharisee, no problem there. That one got through the slot. Opportunity developing. That off the skate of a Maryland Terrapin as it was sent in by Takar. Hokies trying to establish possession. Maryland has their top pair out there, Craven and Teskey. They're going to be able to get this one out. James Romps setting up. Shot did not get through. Good block for the Hokies. For the Virginia Tech, back the other way, it's Kazai. We know about his speed. Fired on and swallowed up by the netminder. Jackson DeVivo fired one, and doesn't hurt just to see, but the issue with Pharisee is that he just doesn't seem to let a lot of rebounds loose.
Yeah, and that was his biggest issue yesterday, and I actually had a chance to talk to him after the game. He told me that he felt like he let his team down by giving up 3 goals. So we knew that he was going to be out for vengeance today, and he's really playing very well. Ooh,
does let up a rebound there. It was a good first save. The net's a little bit open. Puck was right on the line, and then coming back out, net came off the moorings.
Oh, my goodness. That was a grade A chance. The puck actually beat Pharisee. We just talked about how good he's been at controlling rebounds. He gave up a rebound there, but there's an injured Hokie. I believe that's Gavin now. That would be a detrimental blow.
Number 2 center. Tech. Number 2 center for Virginia Tech, the freshman. Now, I cannot wait to see this replay. That puck, I believe,
it might have been on the goal line. I just don't think it fully crossed. Here's the look. Oh, my goodness. That was an incredible play there by... I can't really find it. It was a great play there by Matthew Tulo to center it up, and I just don't think that Gavin now was able to capitalize on it. And Eli Petter, a fantastic heads-up play to just get that puck out of there. And are we maybe going to be taking another look at this?
I mean,
a lot of discussion going on at center ice with the officials.
Might be worth it. It was certainly close.
I think we might be taking another look at it here. Yep, we are. We're going to get an official review here, or maybe a challenge, not sure. But from that angle, I don't know how you can overturn it. I mean, I just don't think there's any conclusive evidence.
On the first first replay that we saw, I can't say that I saw the puck definitively cross the line. But there is a moment where you lose sight of it, and that's
and so that would be advantageous for Maryland. Just because, like we've said it a lot this whole weekend, when plays get reviewed, there has to be conclusive evidence to overturn it. I'm not sure from that angle that we saw. We'll take a look at a few different angles.
Let's get a look at what they're looking at
again.
Here.
So,
and what do you obviously, it's not quite there yet, but give me your thought when you see this.
We can't.
Right there, it's still on the line.
It's not. You just can't see it. Oh my goodness. Travis Duchesne's skate got in the way.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, my goodness. What a play by Travis Duchesne.
I think that's it. I think that's your definitive answer.
Let's
see it.
Well, oh, my goodness. If Duchesne is able to get that puck is not complete. That is no goal.
Yeah,
oh, my goodness. Travis Duchesne.
Unless there is another angle they see that we don't, there is. I don't know that they can call that a goal.
When we look back at the end of this game, if it ends up being a 1-goal game for either end, this is a moment that we're going to be looking at. I mean, what a heads-up play by number 24, the oldest player on this Maryland team. He's getting his doctorate. And that tells you how old he is. And he's married, and he had a huge goal yesterday against Rowan to give Maryland the lead in the second period. But, wow.
And plays hockey on the side. What's he getting his doctorate in?
I actually don't know that.
Okay.
To find that out.
Yeah,
but
he is. Learn that. Wow. So, okay, let's reset here, though, for folks who maybe you left to go to your fridge for a second. It is 2-1 Maryland right now over Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech looked like they were inches away from potentially tying it, and that is not a goal. We have the official signal of no goal.
That look from the kind of the angle right underneath, that was a great shot by our camera there. Take another look here.
Officials go over to talk over with Joey Mullen here.
Give credit to Matthew Tulo, though. My good, I mean, he just set that play up perfectly. Oh, and I just don't think that Gavin now got his stick on it.
I think so. I think what blocked his stick,
might have been Duchesne. Yeah,
I actually think it might have been Pharisee's leg actually that blocked it. But all right, so Virginia Tech with another chance off the offensive zone face-off here, and they're able to keep this one in. Doesn't get a shot through. Excellent defensive play there. I believe that was Matthew Tulo who just made another one. Maybe not Tulo, actually. It might have been Trevor Kellogg. From a distance, 4 and 11 can look a little bit alike. Yeah. Anyway, back into the action here. Virginia Tech gains the zone. It's Peduzzi. That one went around. Opportunity here for Rice. Fires one and again swallowed up. So you pointed out, you talked with Pharisee, and I feel like extra emphasis has been added today on not allowing those rebounds. Now, granted, the last time we talked about it, he let one up right there, but that's, to me, that's been more his game today, is he's just swallowing these things.
Yeah, and his performance today is kind of reminding me of Bobby Kennedy's against Delaware. You know, he's been in the right place at the right time a lot, which
swallows up another one there.
And you can. I was talking last night with a few of the people just in attendance, and you know, you can say that the goalie's just in the right place at the right time, but that's their job. You know, Pharisee did a really good job, has done a really good job today at just not really having to make any huge saves.
And that one right off the face-off. An absolute snipe from you and Andrew, and it is tied at 2 apiece, 3:30 to go. A late goal here in the second period. And a shout-out to the Andrew family, by the way, who we know is in attendance and watching.
Yeah, maybe we should just stop talking about good goaltending. I feel like every time we give props to Forrest or Pharisee, there's
let
a goal.
One in, yeah. Wow.
What a shot. My goodness, a snipe and a bottle popper there from you and Andrew. Here's another look. Pharisee. The puck just goes right over his right shoulder, and that is just an incredible shot from you and Andrew off the face-off.
Perfect placement there for Andrew, and obviously had that tough turnover earlier, as we're going to get an icing here against the Terps. Yeah, you and Andrew.
We're going to take another look here at the you and Andrew goal. Yeah, off the face-off. Right there. Ooh, right over his right shoulder. And like I said, a bottle popper there. My goodness, what a snipe there.
Maryland not able to clear this one. Glove down. They'll get it out on the second attempt. So I think the Terrapins are going to have some things to talk about in the locker room at intermission. Joe Carter's squad, as Virginia Tech has kind of wore them down here at parts of this second period. Maryland has not been able to sustain as much possession. Another turnover forced at the blue line. Trying to redirect this one. Pharisee didn't cover it up at first. He made one, maybe two saves there. Got back to the blue line, then firing that one back in was Takar, and this one covered up. So we'll get another offensive zone face-off for the Hokies. We'll get a wholesale changes, though, from the left dot. This face-off will occur, and it looks like they're going to send out the second line with Tulo, Now, and DeVivo. Good to see Now back out there as he went down hard on the goal that was, or the no goal that was reviewed. Shot from a bad angle, doesn't get through. Good block for Maryland. They're going to chip this one out. Virginia Tech with possession, go D to D, blue line. Quick stretch pass up, doesn't connect, and redirected. Maryland able to get this, and now the Terrapins with a little bit of space to move, entering the zone, and that one blocked down by the netminder Forrest, but took a weird bounce behind him. No goal, but boy, he hasn't seen a lot of action this period. You wonder if he's a little bit cold. Moving the other way now, it's DeVivo. He fires this one wide. Up to make that play is now. Back to DeVivo underneath. DeVivo tries to send through the slot. Nobody home. Brian Rice back out in the slot. Shot doesn't get through. Maryland back the other way now. This is Romps. He has a goal for Maryland today, and he'll head back to the line, or to the bench for a change. Chip down in. Virginia Tech trying to establish some possession here in the final minutes. At the blue line, D-to-D passing. That one got through Brian Rice. Little hot to handle for him. Sends it deep. Maryland will retreat to get the puck. Rakoskis behind his own net. Up to Body. Body took a little bit of a shot to the body. Crossing in over the blue line now. Virginia Tech, they have lived down here. That one off the side of the net. Wasn't really a shot, more of just a attempt to get it to a space more than anything else. Wallace fighting for it in the corner. Virginia Tech regains possession. A turnover on the forecheck. In tight, might have gotten a shot there on Pharisee, but nothing got through. Up to 31 saves, for Pharisee. Wallace fans on an attempt to clear, then goes down to try and block a play there for Andrew. Andrew sends out in front, nobody home for him, and finally Body is just going to flip this one with the backhand out, and this should be an icing, and is, with 39.6 seconds remaining. 33 shots now for Virginia Tech, 16 for Maryland, 2-2 here in the second period. Virginia Tech with a chance late here, and a possibility of maybe tacking on a goal.
Yeah, with the way that this period has kind of played out towards the end, Maryland would be lucky to get out of this period tied. Virginia Tech is all gas, no brakes right now. They have really kind of taken over this game.
So they've got the top line out for the Hokies, and the top line out for Maryland. Virginia Tech goes to work on the cycle here, sending this one back out towards the blue line. That'll stay in the field of play. Kazai trying to get to it, can't quite get there. Peduzzi comes up with it, though, after the Kazai tie-up. Peduzzi now sends over, one-timer shot. Pharisee made the save, comes out to the slot on the rebound. Don't know if the second shot got through. If it did, Pharisee made a save, lost his stick for a moment, and Maryland is going to be able to clear with 5 seconds to go, and that should just about do it. Pharisee will just stick that one aside. Big save. Couple of big saves from Pharisee at the end of the period there. He might want the second goal back, though it was a heck of a shot from Andrew. I mean, I don't know that he would have really been able to make that play one way or another. But the big story is Virginia Tech has worn down a little bit on this Maryland team, who, reminder, is missing Tommy Pilkington. Now, Cam Horan has very adequately jumped into Pilkington's role, but still down one skater. And as a result, we have a 2-2 game going into the third period. Before we go to break, Owen, just a couple of thoughts. We're going to talk with a coach here in just a moment, but unbelievable stretch for Virginia Tech in the second half of that period. And similar to the first period, it felt like Maryland had the better of it early. Virginia Tech had the better of it later.
Yeah, and it kind of took Maryland a while to get acclimated, actually, because Maryland, they were on the floor. They were trying to kill the major power play, but we'll talk more about it after we talk to Virginia Tech's head coach.
All right, we have Coach Joey Mullen with us here in a moment. Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Take us through that late goal off the faceoff, designed play, or just right place, right time?
I mean, that line's been trying to get that to work all year, and finally just clicked for him. Big momentum lift going into the third period here. Got to come out with our best period of the weekend, so that's the plan.
And, Coach, you guys really kind of took full control of this game in the second period. What adjustments did you guys make coming out of that first period?
Just trying to manufacture some energy. It's a long weekend, a lot of games in a short amount of time. Guys are tired. They're giving everything they got, so we just got to bear down here for 20 minutes and get this thing done.
It would have been very easy to lose energy after the way those that first the shorthanded goal and then the goal off the redirection after that. But you guys are able to find the equalizer. You mentioned it, finding that energy. So what do you do in this scenario? Is it a speech? Is it they know what they have to do? How do you find that last little bit that you need for your legs?
I mean, we were pretty top-heavy leadership team here with a lot of upperclassmen. So I'm sure they're getting them going right now. I may have something a little planned for them going into this period, so we'll see what happens.
Thanks, Coach. Much appreciated. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
That is Joey Mullen, head coach for Virginia Tech. You cannot ask for anything more in a championship game on Championship Sunday than 2-2 heading into the third period as Finn Trainer, I believe, is rejoining the broadcast now. Finn, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
What a situation here we've got, even going into the third period, and Virginia Tech, Maryland, I think Virginia Tech has had the better of it, certainly in the back half of each period, but Maryland has been extremely opportunistic, so it's hard at this point to think that we're not going to see this thing come down to the wire.
I completely agree. It seems like every time that one of these teams takes a little bit of the edge, we saw Maryland leading in the middle of that second period. Virginia Tech had the answer later on, and it's as much of a back and forth game as it is a game of runs, and that's really what both of these coaches are probably looking for, is which one of their teams, hopefully their own, for whatever coach you're talking about, they need to lock something in and start on that run. If they can get 1 or 2 goals in underneath them, they can keep going and make this a really, really hard game for the other team.
Third period, limited time remaining in this one. We'll come back with some more analysis after we take a quick break. It is 2-2. That's Finn Trainer. Owen Korzak is with me up here in the booth. And I'm Alex Wiederspiel. We're back in a few minutes here on AAU Plus, second intermission. Goals, 4 of them in that period. After none in the first, we are even at 2 apiece. Back here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the final day, the championship game of the ACCHL playoffs, and you can't ask for more drama than this. It is 2-2 after 2 periods of play. A power play goal, then a shorthanded goal 18 seconds later, and then 2 more added for good measure. Maryland had a brief 2-1 lead, and then after a couple of mistakes, it was Ewan Andrew with an absolute snipe to tie the game. It is 2-2 apiece here, and Owen, you look at these goals here, and this has been kind of a wild one in a lot of ways. I feel like Virginia Tech's had the better of it at times, but Maryland is so opportunistic.
Yeah, that Peduzzi one was just a lucky bounce for Virginia Tech. They were able to take care of it, and then you want to talk about another lucky bounce. James Romps was able to bury the Maryland's first goal. It was just a little bit of not a great play by Ewan Andrew there for Virginia Tech. It went right into Romp's stick. He was able to beat Tucker Forrest. And then Maryland, not long after, Cam Horan, who's slated in as the second-line left winger because Tommy Pilkington got ejected for his hit. We don't know what the exact call was. Probably an elbowing call or hit to the head.
Assume it's either going to be elbow or roughing is my guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Pilkington was out of the lineup. Cam Horan was able to get his stick on the puck, and it was able to just bounce right over Tucker Forrest. And then right as the period was about to close, Ewan Andrew makes up for his earlier blunder with an absolute snipe from the circle, and that evened things up here. And Virginia Tech is really in the driver's seat right now. Shots 33-16 through the first 2 periods.
2-2 the score. We'll be back here in just a few minutes with the start of the third period. High drama here. The question is 20 minutes enough time to come up with a winner? We'll find out when we get back here on AAU Plus and YouTube. I'm Alex Wiederspiel. We have Finn Trainer ringside, and he is Owen Korzak. We'll be back in just a moment. We are back here in Winston-Salem at the Fairgrounds Ice Arena. Alex Wiederspiel, Owen Korzak, and we're ringside now with Finn Trainer. Finn, we're moments away from the start of the third period, 2-2 game, championship game. As fans and as broadcasters, we cannot ask for anything more. I'm sure the coaches are not loving this.
Yeah, it's definitely the tale of the story for Virginia Tech, where a lot of the times they undervalue what a team might be. If they see that they are on the paper the better team, sometimes they get into a habit of letting off the gas. And as Maryland has shown us during this tournament, they do not care if they are the lower seed, regardless of if it's just by 3 or if it's by way more. They will put it to you and show you that they should have been ranked higher in this tournament. And that's the tale of this game, is which team can really overcome either one. Virginia Tech really just needs to snap out of their heads, remind themselves the same things that they were reminding themselves in the Penn State game, that it's 0-0 at every single time. And if the other team scores one, it is always a race to get one over them. Maryland has to keep themselves calm. They already had one just brutal penalty that drew a lot of playing out of their zone, but they need to keep doing what they're doing, keep the chaos, because that seems to be what Virginia Tech has struggled with a little bit during that second period. But overall, both of these teams have a really hard 20 minutes coming out of the gate here.
No kidding. We'll check back in with you in a little bit, Finn. Thank you. And we're back in the booth. Alex Wiederspiel alongside Owen Korzak. And one quick note here. Jack Farrisee, I did the math on my phone. I promise this wasn't in my head. I'm not that gifted. 127 saves out of 132 shots. 962 save percentage through 8 periods of hockey. Can they get one more out of the freshman?
You think he plays up to the occasion?
Man, he has so far, right? So Virginia Tech and Maryland underway for the third. Fresh ice, fresh lines out there, and Virginia Tech will send deep to start. Farrisee back to control, gets this to his defensive stalwart, Brian Teske, and then sent back around the net. Virginia Tech able to regain possession temporarily. Giving chase now, that was Travis Duchesne. Puck squirts out, shot on, and fired wide by Gavin Now. Another one of the very talented freshmen. That has been a storyline throughout the whole tournament. Freshmen, sophomore alike. The underclassmen have had huge roles in this one. Look no further than the goalkeeper for Maryland. At the blue line, fired a shot on, that one wide of the net as well. And Forrest has had an excellent tournament as well. Just 4 goals allowed in 5 periods for him. Allowed 2 in the first game and then has allowed 2 so far. Has not seen quite as much rubber, though, as Farrisee. Nobody has, in fact, in tournament history, as we've now been told by the tournament director.
Yeah, that 59 save shutout will certainly help him out. But, yeah, he's looked good tonight despite giving up the 2.
Working on the far side, trying to pass this one through the slot. Nobody home. Good tie-up by Maryland.
And both of these teams in a little bit of an unfamiliar position. That was nearly a perfect chance for Virginia Tech. But this is the first time that both of these teams will be entering the third period not on top.
Shot fired on. Great job by Wallace setting up with the shot block. And this will wind up being an icing against Maryland. Wallace, of course, had an enormous shot block yesterday on what was the start of the sequence that wound up being the overtime winner for Maryland in their semifinal.
Yeah, and Wallace is a guy who this season hasn't been in the lineup too much. There's another look at the last shot. Wallace just got right in front of him. He's been in and out of the lineup this whole season, but with Andre Serra out for the Terps, he's really just taken over this position and has not given it back. It was a little bit of a position battle with him and Caden Vogel that last weekend of the season. But Andrew Wallace has just been everything and more that the Terps could have asked for him.
Grant Warner wins the face-off there against Zach Stewart. And then immediately a turnover. This one fired. I think that hit the side of the net.
I thought that went in for a second. I was like, oh my goodness, another bottle pop. But
that one would have been as unlikely an angle goal as we have seen in this tournament so far. Virginia Tech does establish possession. A very quick whistle. Farrisee made the first save, and don't think that he actually had covered it. But
he was bumped into, so maybe that might have drew it out. But yeah, I did not think he had control of that at all.
Well, we can see it on the replay here.
Maybe his mask. He's adjusting his mask.
It is
something with that. Yeah,
that's a good call. Let's see. No, I
think that there was just a premature whistle, or maybe he let it go after that. Who knows? But yeah, he's adjusting his helmet now, hoping that everything's good with him. Obviously, Maryland.
So maybe it's entirely possible. And listen, this is stuff that you would only be able to see if you were a ref on the ice in that moment. So it is possible that you saw that, made that call.
Maybe Pharisee said something to an official like, "Hey, whenever I get the puck, please, my helmet's, my cage is a little messed up." Who knows? But yeah, he's getting help from a few different skaters.
Yeah, this could be equipment stuff. Could lead to a lengthy delay here. So let's take a second to reset how we got here. 2 minutes gone by in the third period. 2-2 the score. Virginia Tech kind of, I hesitate to say they had the better of it early in the, Maryland had the better of it early in the first. Virginia Tech got better as the second went on. Same kind of idea in the second period. Virginia Tech had some not great moments, and he's going to head to the bench now. Looks like him
and Patty Adams are going to trade masks. Patty Adams is the most selfless player on this Maryland team. And so if he ever has to do something, or maybe he's just fixing
because I was going to say, listen, goalies are a little nuts. And I know, I think Pharisee was the one who mentioned the other day that he is the least nuts goalie you'll ever, he's the most normal goalie you'll ever meet. But it's worth noting, I don't know how he would feel about trading masks. Be a good question for the postgame if we wind up talking to him. But we'll find out what's going on here. Anyway, I suspect the whistle is tied to this, which would make it a completely fair whistle there. You just can't have a goalie in that situation unsafe. Nonetheless, so 2-2. There were no goals in the first period. Virginia Tech winds up going on the power play with 17 seconds to go in the first off of a Tommy Pilkington. We now are confirmed it was a boarding, major, and misconduct. So Pilkington out for the rest of this game. The extra skater, as you point out, Cam Horan, the sophomore, jumps into his role on the second line. Virginia Tech scores on the power play 56 seconds into it. That was early in the second period. Maryland won the first 17 seconds and got us to intermission. Virginia Tech scores a goal. It was Gavin Peduzzi as the puck just sort of squirted free in the slot, and he fired one home for his 5th goal and 7th point of the tournament. Maryland, 18 seconds later, would get a goal off an unfortunate bounce. James Romp's right place, right time to convert off of a turnover. Maryland would score again off of a terrific deflection. Puck redirected a couple of times. Cam Horan scored, made it 2-1. And then Virginia Tech slowly took over the back half of the second period. And finally, off the faceoff, Ewan Andrew scores the equalizer. And we are tied at 2 as a result.
A little bit of an update. I just saw assistant coach Trevor Drake head into the locker room. I think he might have been grabbing some tape or maybe some rope. I think that there was an issue with like the clear neck guard kind of thing on, I don't know the exact term, but looking like Pharisee's ready to go, hoping that he's okay.
2 minutes gone by in the third, and we will resume after that stoppage. Offensive zone face-off for Virginia Tech. Maryland is able to win it, and sending it around was Eli Petter, and out of the zone, Maryland will give chase. Sending it deep, but there was a man off. This actually went straight to the goaltender, Forrest. He sticks it away. They'll count that as a shot, by the way.
Yeah, the shot numbers this weekend might be a little inflated, but for the most part, they're generally accurate.
I mean, he did technically make a save.
He technically did make the save, but I think that there are a lot of plays that maybe wouldn't necessarily be called saves that maybe they'll give them.
Sure, but I don't think that was a shot. It was certainly not a shot attempt, but it winds up becoming a shot. Nonetheless, Maryland able to clear the zone. Great skating, shot on, and Forrest makes the play. It was a low attempt by Colin Doherty and the freshman turning on the Jets there.
Yeah, and that's something that Maryland needed. They'd had 0 offensive zone time so far this period, and Doherty goes coast to coast, gets a shot on Forrest, ready for it the whole time. Now Maryland gets the much-needed offensive zone face-off. They got their 4th line out there. Maybe watch out for Blake Warner here.
Chase Wilson on the face-off dot. Didn't quite win it, but Maryland, big shot there thrown by a Virginia Tech player as going down was Jack Hudrin. Maryland can't quite force the turnover here.
Hudrin delivers it right back.
And now Virginia Tech, opportunity developing, shot on, and a kick save by Pharisee.
Craven and Warner along the boards trying to play catch, but Virginia Tech, their forecheck today has been incredible. Maryland is having a really hard time getting out of the zone, and a bad turnover there by Hudrin.
Exactly as you say it. Austin Hearn makes the play and then skates to the bench, so Virginia Tech able to get a change. And the Hokies to their credit, have played a very patient game since falling behind 2-1. But process over results only lasts for so long. 2-2 here. The Hokies have doubled up Maryland in shots, 35-18. But the Terrapins have been extremely opportunistic in this one. And, of course, the goaltending of Pharisee continues to be a major story as Maryland forces a turnover on the forecheck and then just loses it off the stick. Now Virginia Tech back the other way. Hand up for an offside. It looked like DeVivo got in too early.
Incredible play there by Andrew Wallace to just stuff up the Hokies as they try to have a clean zone entry.
He's had a pretty nice weekend,
He's had a tremendous weekend. I mean, he's been one of the most unsung heroes for the Terps. Nearly a bad turnover there. Maybe we should just stop talking good about players. Every time we say something, something bad happens.
They're equal opportunity
Andrew
offenders.
Wallace is having a horrible weekend.
Every time we praise a player, they make a mistake. So from now on, we only say bad things about players. Good to know. Offside there for Maryland. So this will come out to a neutral zone face-off. Now, it's been a tremendous weekend of hockey, and the winner of this one ultimately taking home the Admirals Cup, which is obviously a big deal for these players. The bigger deal likely will be that their season is definitively going on. We have an icing here against Maryland. Virginia Tech now will get an ozone face-off as a result. But, we talked a little bit about it. We think Virginia Tech, reasonably decent shot,
they should be safe,
in.
Even if they lose, even if they give up 5 more goals this period and lose 7-2. I still think that they would have a fair chance. They're probably sitting at around the 8-10 range right now. So with that being said, they're probably safe. But Maryland, this is really do or die for them. They need to walk away with a win here if they want their next tournament hopes to come to fruition.
Virginia Tech able to get the puck after a couple of trades back and forth off the faceoff, and finally no shot on that possession. Maryland able to clear the zone. Exit, go the other way, send in deep. Good play from Cam Horan, who already has a goal in this one off of a very nifty deflection. Puck redirected a couple of times before Horan finally got the most important one. That gave Maryland their only lead of this day, Virginia Tech led 1-0, then it was 1-1. Maryland led 2-1, and this is going to be an icing against Virginia Tech. And now here we are at 2-2. We've gone a few minutes without a shot here. Let's check in rinkside with Finn Trainer, who has an update for us on what led to that delay with the mask. Finn, what's going on?
So it seems like there's a portion of the mask that helps protect the neck of the goalie. It's a very important piece to make sure that safety is there. And what ended up happening is that came a little bit loose off of one of the hits that happened on the goalie. And so after that, they went over to the bench trying to fix it, starting off at the net. And when they're over at the bench, they were trying to put it on. Well, currently, he is wearing a different goalie mask. He's actually wearing one of the other goalie because they couldn't get it fixed right there. You actually could see in between cuts right there, you could see the actual other goalie for Maryland still tying up that extra guard. And so that can definitely be an issue for some goalies. It's like wearing a different pair of underwear in the morning. It feels weird if you're wearing someone else's. So that might definitely be an issue for Farsi. He's also had a really phenomenal game. So that could just be the one thing that changes. But the Hokies definitely trying to capitalize on a little bit of that chaos going the other way.
All right, much appreciated, Finn. Thanks for the heads up. And also, Owen, good call, because that was your guess from far away. That's an eagle eye call as Virginia Tech fires one on. This whiz is wide of the net. Wallace able to get a stick on that and sends it up. Patrick Harnon came up with it briefly. Now Wallace back behind his own net, fires that one over. Little D-to-D passing. Maryland able to get it out, but not cleanly. Sent back in deep by Virginia Tech. Peduzzi is giving chase on the forecheck here, and Peduzzi nearly forces a turnover. Good pressure applied. Still not able to quite clear this one out. Austin Hearn comes up with it. That one through. That went off the pad and out to safety for Maryland. So no real shot there, but things got a little white knuckle for a moment for Maryland fans.
Yeah, they just needed a change, I think, and they were able to get one with the rush. Do we have a night? Wow.
Yeah, just barely.
That was very, very close. We've already talked about Cam Kazi's incredible skating ability in there. He showed a lot of speed to try and beat the ice, and they end up saying he didn't, which I'm not sure if I necessarily agreed with that. He was booking it. I mean,
yeah,
I guess we'll trust their eyes. They're lot closer. So
it was usually in those instances too where it's close, they're usually going to defer to the team in the defensive zone, but the face-off won too cleanly.
That's the second time that's happened to the Terps where they're able to actually win the draw in their offensive zone. And I believe that's Rakowskis, his second time where the puck goes right by him and it takes away an offensive zone chance for Maryland.
12:30 to go here in the third period. Still no goals in the third. 4 goals in the second, none in the first. Virginia Tech, Maryland here off the skate of a Maryland player. That was Grant Warner. Back the other way for Virginia Tech. This one poked up the ice, and this should be and is an icing as Jackson DeVivo was giving chase but could not get there. 12:10 to go.
Keep an eye on number 28 for Maryland. Ooh, an official just blew a tire at center ice. It's been a common theme this whole weekend, really. I guess when there's this much hockey being played in such a short time period, it's going to happen. I want to watch out for Maryland's Colin Doherty. He's had a few chances today, and it seems like he's due.
This one fired on from distance. That one wide. Don't think Forrest made the save there.
It's a good, nice deflection by Romps, but a little wide.
Who already has one today.
And he's a freshman. He's one of the young guys for the Terps who's making his presence felt. Oh, that one might be a corrected icing. That was not icing at all, in my opinion.
So the big question there will be, because DeVivo definitely would have beaten it there if it wasn't moving as fast as it was. The fact that it winds up going to the far side might have
and they're gonna
been what impacted it.
They're gonna stand on business. It looks like, wow, I am in awe. I thought for sure they beat the icing, and I thought that at least we'd get a corrected icing, but I guess for Maryland, Maryland, they're getting some opportunities handed to them with these icing calls. They're going to have to take advantage.
Face-off won by Virginia Tech. They're able to clear the zone. Maryland has to retreat. This is Teskey flipping that one back into the Hokie zone. Little D-to-D passing here for Virginia Tech. Going to try a long stretch pass. And it took a fortuitous bounce. Opportunity developing. What a diving play. Then a shot. Net was open for just a second because the puck kept bouncing around. No one winds up getting a shot off. Back behind the net. Opportunity developing. Nearly blew a tire at the blue line. Shot was redirected past the netminder, but not on net. So after all that for Virginia Tech, not a shot on goal to be found there.
Yeah, and Craven, I was a little surprised. He's one of the more aggressive defensemen for the Terps. He just completely let that puck go by. That's going to be called icing. Doherty wasn't able to get a piece of it with his stick. But Craven just let the Hokies go right by him, and that ultimately led to a few really good looks for the Hokies. Pharisee wasn't in net for a moment. They weren't able to bang that one home. And so we're approaching halfway period through this second period, and it's not like I don't really think either team has had any grade A chances. Obviously, Virginia Tech has had much more sustained offense, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have good chances, and Doherty is...
Well, with all of these icings, I'm starting to wonder, too. This is, again, a lot of these guys have got to have some tired legs. Third game in 3 days.
Maryland only has has only one defenseman out there. I thought Craven was the one who iced the puck. They're going to say no.
Well, they're able to get this one out, and Forrest winds up playing it as it was fluttering, so they'll get their second defenseman out. Maryland nearly forced a turnover there. Quick shot. Can he get the puck loose in the slot? Rebound, shot on, and no goal. They're waving it off. They're saying Forrest pushed into the net.
Ooh,
and then,
some post-whistle, as you'd like to say.
Yeah, little post-whistle activity there. I think Blake Warner didn't love something.
Well, yeah, Warner had a good shot there, and Jack Hudrin, who's kind of found his game as this season has gone on. He was in healthy scratch a lot early in the year. He took a little bit of a poke at Forrest. I wonder if now that we're about to go to media timeout, if Joe Carter chooses to elect it. Here's another look here. So that was a good shot opportunity for Warner, but a great shot block by the Hokies. Warner, wraparound, tried it. The puck was...
Yeah, he pushes his pad in, and so that's why the no goal was called. You can't do that to the goalie with the pushing of the pad. That said, it is scoreless here, 2-2.
Yeah, and had that been ruled a goal, that would have been huge because Virginia Tech already used their challenge. That would have had to have been I believe Virginia Tech used the challenge, unless that was just a regular official review
We'll double check. I'll double check on that because we don't have audio from the officials, so we don't know that for sure. All right, we'll take a break real quick. Back in a moment here on AAU Plus and YouTube. Some heavy legs on the ice, but someone has got to find a winner eventually. Third period here, 2-2. Whether it happens in regulation or overtime is anybody's guess, but we're starting to get to that point here. This is do or die. Winner, take all. Loser, go home. Welcome back in, everybody, on AAU Plus and YouTube. Alex Sweeterspiel alongside Owen Korzak and Finn Trainer. And we'll check in with Finn in a little bit here rinkside. But there have not been a lot of shots here in this third period.
I believe there's only been one, and it was from Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Unless I guess Maryland had, look out.
I think Maryland might have two, but still not a lot. That one will deflect out of play. Because I know for sure, obviously, Warner had one. Yeah. I think they've had two. I think they had 16. Actually, you know what? I think it was 33-16 at the break. So it is 3-2 in shots here. We're almost midway through the period.
Just credit to both of these teams. How many times have there been shot attempts that just don't go to the net? So many times, it seems. And Virginia Tech with another great shot block just before the whistle.
The Hokies have played pretty well in their own zone in this one. That's obviously typically something that Maryland does as well. And we've got a stoppage here, cover up for Pharisee. And Jack Pharisee, who has had just a tremendous tournament here, has now stopped 34 of 36 today. That's 129 of 134, if I've got my math correct.
And we just got word that the reason the Jack Hudrin goal was waved off was because they blew the whistle, and then Hudrin pushed Forrest into the net. Ooh, look out, James Body with a chance.
Opportunity for Maryland developing. Body, good defensive play. Great drop pass, shot on, and Forrest cuts off the angle and makes a terrific play. And then we're going to get a little bit of extra stuff. Post-whistle, battling between Body and a Hokie. Didn't see which Virginia Tech player it was, but
yeah, that was by far the best chance for either team so far this period. What a dump by James Body. He found Harden. Harden just attacked it, tried to go far post, and Tucker Forrest wasn't having any of it. What a save there by Forrest, the biggest save of the night so far.
I think it was wound up being Takra who was involved in some of that extra stuff with Body. And, of course, no surprise that folks are on edge here in a game this tight, this late, with this much meaning. That one over the head of Forrest, and a turnover at the half wall, flipped behind the net now by Maryland. See if they can establish some possession in the offensive zone here. Tied up right here on the near side half wall.
Well, Maryland gets a change in while they're at it.
Smart.
Yeah, a very heads up. My goodness, wow. So much happening at once.
That was fired on by Harden from
beyond the circle, practically from the board.
The thing is, you would say, well, that's not a high-danger shot, but I don't think Forrest was expecting him to do it, and he's fortunate he's able to squeeze the leg shut and make that play. It'll lead to a whistle and an ozone faceoff. That's an incredible shot.
Oh, my goodness. It was such a great heads-up play, first by Wallace to get off the ice while he could, and then by Harden with that shot. Tucker Forrest hadn't faced much in that second period, but he's had his work cut out for him in period number 3.
Virginia Tech able to clear the zone. A little breakout, back pass through the seam at center ice. Then try to go around, see if they can force a turnover here. They will. In the slot, came free, shot didn't get through. Trying a backhander, and that one I think did get through to Pharisee. Might have made one save there. Yeah, they've tacked on one shot.
That was just really good job by Maryland at getting Bodies in front of the net. They had 4 or 5 shot attempts there, and only one got to the net, like you said.
It feels like it's going to be the ugliest goal we have seen that's going to win this one, because guys are just going to get in front of the net.
Someone's going to try and clear it, bounce off the board, off the goalie, into the net, something like that.
Well, that one was opportunity for Virginia Tech. Redirected. Pharisee makes another really good save off the deflection. Shot blocked again by Maryland. Excellent work there as Luke Mohan made the block. Puck is still in danger, though, for the Terrapins, and now able to fly the zone. Opportunity developing for Colin Doherty. He can't quite hold on to it. Good erasure there by Ewan Andrew. Maryland has at least gained a little bit of zone time here, but finally outnumbered after the change.
That was a near dangerous turnover to Cam Horan at the blue line.
Virginia Tech now the other way. Andrew giving chase. Andrew trying to deflect it off the boards, and finally it comes free to a Hokie. His shot does not get through a couple of different Terps, and Maryland, another blocked shot for the Terps, though I'm not sure that one was in any danger of going anywhere near the net. Still, right now they are getting in front of everything. As much ice as you can possibly find on that bus ride home will be needed for this Maryland team after this weekend. Really slick move there. Opportunity for Schraven now developing. Fired on. Forrest made the save. Another shot, and off the rebound, a great save in the slot. Forrest, terrific work. Virginia Tech now on the rush. Has an opportunity into the slot. Good breakup by the defenseman. No call, and Maryland now, can they go back the other way? Long pass, a little too long, and Virginia Tech able to come and corral.
Yeah, from initial look, it looked like that was a fine no call. Maybe we'll get another look that'll change that. But I think in this moment of the game, the way that play shaped out, I don't think we're going to see a lot of whistles the remainder of this one.
I was thinking the same thing, that I would be surprised if that was the call that they would make in that scenario. Duchesne flipped one on net. Forrest covered. So I will say there is an element of strategy here if you're Maryland. I don't think you're upset about the possibility of an offensive zone faceoff, even if it sacrifices a puck possession in the moment.
And that was going back. Tucker Forrest made a huge save on Michael Schreibman. And then Grant Warner couldn't bury it on the rebound. And oh my goodness, look out.
Turnover there, but good heads-up play by Caleb Craven to get there. Virginia Tech still with a little bit of possession, then a long poke by the captain, Teskey.
Oh my goodness.
Massive hit. Maryland with possession, though, trying to go through the slot with some speed, and this one fired through the crease.
Craven is really shaken up after that one. That is a player Maryland really can't afford to lose. His stick broke. But that's something we're certainly going to have to monitor, especially with Pilkington being out.
This one flipped back into the Virginia Tech zone. Sent up. Wachtel made the play. Haven't called his name much in this one. Back low, that was Eli Petter who sent it around. Virginia Tech comes up with it around the blue line, but not able to get it deep. The neutral zone war has really been the only way to describe this. Turnover forced. Opportunity now into the slot, and a great play there from Eli Petter to make sure that nobody was getting a shot off there. He winds up coming up with the puck and then sends up towards the blue line. It got past his intended target, Doherty, but Virginia Tech not able to do much with it. Long pass, a stretch pass intercepted. Now Maryland tries to send deep. Another interception. Puck comes loose off a strange bounce. Maryland does not have numbers here, though. See if they can get something working here. Skating this one through the slot. Goalie is out of the net, and a shot. Somebody, I believe a Hokie, redirected it.
Oh, Schreibman had no one in front. I believe someone might have gotten a piece of it, but that was Maryland's chance to just take this game over. Schreibman, Tucker Forrest wasn't even in the net. Oh my goodness.
I think Forrest has lost his crease a couple of times now. Worth monitoring here. Pass over to the blue line. Shot on. That one, another deflection. That one doesn't get through to Pharisee, though. Virginia Tech firing another one on, and Pharisee was able to see that one and then was trying to get a glove on it, and it just squeaked away from him. Fortunately, no danger for him if you're a Maryland fan. Then Wallace sends this one up. Virginia Tech crossing the blue line. See what the Hokies can come up with, trying to stuff that one in, and I think
the netting came off. Yeah,
that was a power move by Tulo, the senior who has scored already in this tournament.
Both teams with really good looks. Obviously, Schreibman with the point-blank chance that he just couldn't bury. But coming back, Virginia Tech has had a few really good looks. Pharisee has been unable to control the rebound a handful of times the past few minutes. And that's keeping Virginia Tech in this one. They've had so many chances. It just seems like a matter of time before they bury one.
Virginia Tech offensive zone faceoff. One back to Lagas, and he couldn't quite handle it at the blue line. We're down almost under 4 minutes to go here. Again, not a lot of shots in this period. 40-23. It was,
and it really seems like Maryland has had the better chances. I mean, they've had a handful of odd man rushes this period, but look out, because Jack Pharisee, like we said, it seems like he's not as comfortable as he has been the remainder of this the beginning of this tournament.
Shots are even in this third period. I have it at 7 apiece here as this one is sent back into the Maryland zone and then flipped behind the net for Eli Petter, who has had a strong game in this one, strong tournament overall, and fired on. This one sent way high into the air after the stick save. That one got by Patrick Harnon, who was just trying to glove it down and play it. Now Virginia Tech back the other way. Attempted pass through the seam. If we do wind up going to overtime, we will not have the Zamboni out. It'll be a 10-minute period first.
And it'll be 5-on-5 sudden victory.
3:20 remaining here. Long way down the ice, and that leads to an icing. Let's check in with Finn Trainer, ringside. Finn, what's going on, man?
Definitely everyone's heart rate is up and through the roof as this 2-2 game could not get any closer. Virginia Tech has had so many opportunities in the offensive zone, just not able to really push one by Pharisee. Pharisee's just absolutely seeing everything that the Hokies are throwing their way, and it seems like the Maryland Terrapins have just been able to get in the way of every shot, and even the shots that they're having on their other zone. We saw one earlier in this period where he just managed to get one from the near side corner all the way on net, and there were 5 guys right in front of him. And I don't mean the burger place, I just mean in general. And it's ridiculous how fast both these teams are playing and how much physicality is going into this game, and the emotions are high. Both benches are absolutely electric and holding their breath.
Thank you, Finn. We'll check in with you, I think, probably a few more times, as this one could be headed to extra minutes here. As a long shot on will not get through Pharisee. The attempt there from Lanigan, and that is going to even us up at 8 shots apiece in the period with 2:34 remaining here. All the goals came in the second period.
Yeah, 2 goals for each team in the second period, a lot of 2s.
Nothing in the first, nothing in the third, and the third has certainly in many ways mimicked the first at times, though the one thing that certainly changed the course of this game was at the end of the first, the Pilkington Major, a boarding call with 17 seconds to go.
Yeah, which, I mean, maybe in the long run hurt the Terps, but his replacement, Cam Horan, has actually played pretty great in my opinion. He obviously had the goal, but he's done a really good job. That whole line with Warner and Schreibman, they just work so well together no matter who else is on the wing. Mohan blew a tire behind the play.
Virginia Tech doesn't look like they can take advantage. Mohan's going to get back into his spot and trying to bring this one up. That's Amon. Good work by Sean Amon. Funny enough, he's a guy who I feel like we said his name a lot as this one steered away by Pharisee. Haven't quite called his name as much today. Turnover in the slot. Opportunity for Virginia Tech. No, that went off of a skate and then out of the zone. Flipped back in and trying to test Pharisee from deep.
I don't think he saw that one coming. I think that might have actually been right place, right time. But
he swallowed it, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that was a player on Virginia Tech. I'm not sure who just jumped to get back on side as that shot went off. And it was a really good shot. It was a high, kind of almost like a pass, like a quarterback throwing a football. And it went right into the breadbasket of Pharisee, luckily for the Terps.
1:54 to go in regulation. Still tied at 2 here. Feels like now it's next goal wins. The question is who? J.H. Lagas tried to get that one deep. Maryland intercepted at the blue line. Back and forth they go. A lot of turnovers. This is already felt in many respects like overtime hockey for a long stretch.
Ooh, a bad turnover
of this third period, and that is a Virginia Tech turnover. Shot on. That one squeaks through. Pharisee made the save. There was a huge shot or a huge hit after the play.
I wonder if we're going to see I don't think we're...
Wow. Was that Caleb Craven who threw the hit?
I'm not sure who threw it, but it was Austin Hearn who took a huge beating there. I don't think there's a penalty called.
I didn't see the hit in real time. Hearn was down for a minute. Excuse me, no, that was Lagas who was down, wasn't it?
No, it was Hearn. Hearn's got his helmet off in the bench.
Right.
We'll take another look here. And Maryland got lucky because, honestly, it should have been a goal for Virginia Tech. The puck beat Pharisee. Yeah, that went right to Hearn. Oh, that one.
That's a little high.
I wonder if you can...
That's a little high. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge call there, a huge no call, so you can't review it. I think there might be a penalty. Brian Teskey, the captain for Maryland, having a word with the officials
It should be, if anything, from what we saw just on the replay, it probably should be Craven. Then, of course, after the hit, there were a little post-whistle stuff.
I don't know.
During play stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see a penalty called. It doesn't look like it. I think that had there been a penalty called, we wouldn't be seeing Craven behind the boards right now.
Yeah, I can tell you this. Officials hate making calls like that in this moment, in this game.
And given how this whole weekend has gone, I think that they're just going to stick with a no call. Or we'll see, maybe. It looks like there's just going to be a no call. And
they're also discussing, I think, where the face-off is going to be, which...
It's going to be outside. Wow, this seems like everything just went against Virginia Tech right there.
Can't imagine Joey Mullen loves it, but nonetheless.
He's not happy. He's having a word with one of the linesmen.
2 apiece, 1:26 to go in regulation. Do not go anywhere because we won't be going anywhere. If this thing goes to overtime, we start overtime pretty much instantly. There is no intermission. Player blue attire for Virginia Tech. Able to send this one back up, and Cam Kazai came up with it for a moment. Maryland forces a neutral zone turnover. See if they can get this one deep here. It's Grant Warner, who had probably the best chance of the third period for Maryland.
Him and Schreibman both had grade A chances.
Fired from distance. Oh, that one got through to Forrest. Then a rebound opportunity, and that one did not get through. Wow. Huge save for Forrest.
This second line has been buzzing all tournament for the Terps. It's been by far their best in my opinion, and it's continuing in this third period. Look out.
Good play there from Pharisee as Kazai was trying to make a couple of nifty moves. And I think Kazai might have gotten a stick on Pharisee after the whistle. It's just a very subtle little thing, and the Maryland players did not like that, and the refs had to get in the way.
Yeah, Craven instantly raised his right hand. I'm going to look at that, but yeah, Pharisee's done a really good job tonight so far, stopping 43 of 45.
Tremendous for him. Tucker Forrest to stop 23 of 25. Pharisee's save percentage, I believe, is now over 970 for the tournament. As this one is going to go...
Yeah, it's off of Duchesne and into the stands, so a fan will get a free souvenir for this, what's been just an unbelievable tournament, hasn't it?
Yeah, the Maryland bench, by the way, got very, very riled up there during that. They really liked that for whatever reason. Not sure what it was about. Regardless, we have a D-zone face-off here for the Terps. It's won by Virginia Tech back to the blue line. Opportunity developing now underneath the red line. Maryland had numbers and support back there for just a moment. Back to the blue line, D-to-D passing. Laga's going to fire one on. Pharisee, no problem with that one. Yeah, there was traffic there, but he saw it all the way.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on Matthew Tulo. He was really uncontested, just screening Pharisee. Petter was kind of tied up with another Hokie, but Tulo, had there been a higher shot, Tulo might have had a very good chance at deflecting that one home. Wow, this game, I mean, everyone is really on their feet here at the fairgrounds. It's been just an electric game through and through.
24 seconds remaining. Offensive zone face-off for the Hokies. They've had the better of it here in the last couple of minutes. Maryland had the better of it early in the period. That's been kind of the story every single period here. Little quick pass. That one got through. Shot fired. Pharisee got a stick on that one. Save number 45. Another shot. That one goes wide behind the net. Opportunity developing. A diving play by a Maryland player.
Yeah, it was Harnan. What a play by Harnan. He probably just saved the game for Maryland.
Puck is loose. Opportunity. Shot goes wide of the net. Still fired on and doesn't beat the buzzer. Didn't get to the net either. That is going to bring us to overtime, 2-2. And the story of this tournament has been Jack Pharisee with 45 saves now in the championship game. I'll have to reset the numbers where he was at now previously. So that's 14 more saves for him. So I believe that puts him up to 141 saves in this tournament, which, as we were already noted, was a record even before.
Here's another look at that last sequence right there. Gavin Peduzzi, that was his chance. Lagas right there too. Puck was free, but Maryland catching a few breaks. And then right here again, Harnan got in the way of Peduzzi. Oh my goodness, Gavin Peduzzi with two of the best chances maybe of his entire season, and 9 times out of 10, he will bury those.
Here's the story. You're leaving everything out there no matter what. And Harnan, who came up looking like he might be hurt earlier in the game after taking a pretty good lick, has been very, very good and went all out to make that play there. So we're going to reset here in 60 seconds. Let's quickly check in with Finn Trainer down ringside. Finn, what a finish to that third period, man.
I mean, everything that is happening right for both teams is happening for both teams. That could have been a very costly penalty if that would have been called on Maryland for that hit to Hearn. Hearn seemingly not too banged up after that, so that's good for the Hokies, but Maryland really got lucky with nothing called there, as that was a brutal hit to take on anyone. It was clear contact to the head, and that's just a hard call to make on the ice as well because of how fast everything is moving. So definitely a struggle, but this is how everyone wanted this game to end. Not the coaches and not the players, of course, because they want to definitely not have a heart attack at the end of this, but they definitely want to keep this going. And wow, this is amazing how this game is going to end.
All right, very good, Finn. Thank you. We are going to overtime. Can't ask for much more here on AAU Plus. Finn Trainer is ringside. Owen Korzak is next to me up here in the booth. I'm Alex Wiederspiel, and there are 10 minutes on the clock.
Grant Warner is a guy to watch for Maryland. He has 3 game-winning goals in extra time this year.
Next goal wins. Now, we saw a bunch of these waved off, by the way, in the Penn State-Wake Forest game. So, we saw a challenge yesterday. So,
yeah, we thought that Penn State-Wake Forest game ended about 3 or 4 different times. And then even yesterday, it looked like for a moment Maryland, after celebrating, is going to get waved off.
Fired one on. Good save there for Forest. Opportunity developing for the Terps. Virginia Tech able to force a turnover, and then chip this one out. Maryland, nice start to their overtime period, getting an early shot on. Again, each period it seems like Virginia Tech has gotten stronger as it has gone on, and Maryland has been better coming out, but there was no intermission here, so we'll see if any of that dynamic remains the same. They're going to send this one deep, and again, keep testing Pharisee from long. I don't think he has any issue with that. That could be an issue, though, where, again, Virginia Tech might just be saying, go ahead and glove that. We'd like an offensive zone faceoff. They scored off one earlier.
Yep. And just something to keep an eye on. I mean, this was a game where the only goals scored this entire game came when each goaltender was on this side of the ice. Watch out for a quick shot here.
Maryland is going to win the faceoff in the defensive zone. That is Wallace. He's had a strong tournament. Gets that one up. This chipped outside of the zone. Nice play there from Travis Duchesne. Giving chase now on the other side for Virginia Tech is Tulo. Tulo working with the backhand. Going to try and stuff that one in with a power move. Didn't get a shot on. Puck comes loose. Nice save there for Pharisee. From distance, shot on. Pharisee is down. Puck is not in the net. I'm not sure where it is at this point. Someone for Virginia Tech has it behind the net now. Wow. Firing one on, and Pharisee says no more.
That was eerily similar to an earlier sequence when Duchesne kind of kicked the puck out of the net. I think it was the exact same. It looked like the puck was on the line again. Oh my goodness, Virginia Tech knocking on the door. Here's another look. This was a great angle. Puck was free.
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
It happened again.
It was Sean Amon this time. 2 of the longest, oldest, most experienced players on Maryland showing their expertise.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. I can't believe what just happened.
Inches away for the second time, and Maryland is able to escape that one.
And this is just a quick reminder, if we are scoreless through one overtime period, the Zamboni will come out and we will go to a full intermission.
So Maryland sends this one down. Murphy McLeod had it briefly for a minute for Virginia Tech. Now near side by us. Turnover in the slot. Opportunity. Good back pressure by Maryland. Able to get this one out. Virginia Tech re-enters the zone.
Both of these teams really just feel like they deserve to win. It's awful that, this sport and sports in general, there has to be a winner and a loser.
Especially in the postseason. There used to be ties in this sport.
Oh, look out. Bad turnover there by Rakowskis.
Maryland does a good job cleaning up off of the mistake. Then into the slot. Couple of opportunities. Good saves by Pharisee of the ones that he had to make. This one is going to come back to the blue line. Opportunity from distance. Lagas, his shot does not get through. Maryland won yesterday in overtime off of a similar play. Pass through the slot. That one doesn't create a shot for Hearn. Looked like he had a chance. Maryland trying to get this out.
Yeah, the Terps have got to get off the ice.
And fired on that one off the back of the skate of a Hokie player. Terps still can't get this one out of the zone. That's Lagas on the far side. Shot does not get out. Maryland, and they should be able to clear this one that they're going to carry, and able to carry it up to the red line. So that's great. They'll be able to get a change. No icing. Good work there from Colin Doherty, who looked exhausted. Then a turnover down low. Opportunity for Maryland. They are underneath the red line, trying to stuff that in. Forrest made the play. Back to the blue line and sending all the way around, giving chase to this one is Caleb Craven. He laid that big hit earlier. No call there. Big moment in this game. And a mistake going to lead to an opportunity breakaway for Kazai. Could he end this one for Virginia Tech? Kazai flips it off the backhand, and that will do it. Virginia Tech has won the ACCHL playoffs. Who else? Cam Kazai and Virginia Tech as a lower seed, 5 seed, has taken down the 7 seed Maryland.
It was just a bad turnover by Warner at the blue line, and Kazai took full advantage. And you got to feel for the young guy, Grant Warner. He knows. And he's played so well this tournament, but Kazai just takes it away. What a move. Got Pharisee to bite on the near post backhand, and another bottle popper. And the Virginia Tech Hokies, they conquered their demons last night against Penn State. And they are back on top, and the cup is going to Blacksburg. Here's another look. Yeah, Warner, he was too patient with it right there. Great poke check. Who was that? That was Peduzzi. Who else? And then a fake backhand goal. Oh, my goodness, what a moment. And Virginia Tech is back on top in the ACCHL.
So Kazai has had a tremendous tournament. We'll find out who the MVP is going to be. Pharisee has a case even in defeat as he sets a record as a goaltender in this tournament, 31 years of it. And I think and suspect they want him at the front of the line so that, Forrest and Pharisee meet first. And nice moment there. And, of course, one of the best traditions in all of hockey. And talk a little bit about it for Maryland first. Then we'll get to Virginia Tech here in just a second because we think they've got, we know they have more hockey to play now. Maryland has to wait and see what their fate is. Probably not going to move on, but there is still a chance for them after a really good tournament here. This is a young Maryland team, and this was a great effort for them. I suspect they have a real shot to be back in this exact spot next season.
Yeah, they certainly do, but they're losing a handful of big-time names. Blake Warner is probably the biggest one, him and Sean Amon. Those are two players who are practically, they could be wearing the C on any other team. Chase Wilson, too, who's wearing an A. It's 3 huge, big-time names for the Terps that they're going to have to fill in. But what a season. I mean, if you were to tell the Terps that, they were going to be playing in the ACC championship, I don't think that they would believe you, and I think that they would take the season. It was an incredible season for the Terps in a year where they had a lot of youth, shine, but all the attention now is going to go on the Hokies who had their fair share of players who could shine. Gavin Peduzzi, 6 goals in the tournament and forced the turnover that led to the game and eventual tournament ender.
Let's check in rinkside right now with Finn Traynor from a Virginia Tech perspective. A, what this means for the Hokies, and then B, what can we expect from them moving on, having earned that auto berth, Finn?
Just before I even go there, Maryland put up a hell of a game. Absolutely shutting everything that the Hokies put on them, and you can't describe in words how amazing this game was for both teams. Maryland coming from beating the best team in the league last night and coming down to it now, playing up against Virginia Tech. Both of these teams have worked so hard, and both teams should be so proud. From a Virginia Tech's perspective, it's so nice to see this because last year we had a run at it then, and Penn State ended up taking us there. So Virginia Tech definitely super, super happy. We're losing some really great seniors, so it's great to give them another shot and keep this season going. But Cam Kazai with that final goal, just having it passed by Peduzzi as well, both of the top record holders for Virginia Tech. There aren't words for how amazing this is for both teams. Even to get to this place for Maryland is got to be something that they should be proud of, and they're a wonderful team, and I'm excited to watch them again next year.
So thanks, Finn, and appreciate all your work this weekend as Gavin Peduzzi is going to be named tournament MVP. You mentioned it a moment ago, 6 goals for Peduzzi, and if they did award him an assist, again, I'm not sure if he got enough stick on it, but if he got an assist on that last goal, that would be a 9-point weekend for him.
In 3 games, and he's familiar to scoring. And Virginia Tech, I mean, he is one of the, I mean, and for him, this is somewhat of a revenge game or a homecoming game for him. He's from Frederick, Maryland, which is practically right next to the Maryland campus. So
it's also incredibly difficult to do what Virginia Tech has done here, and Maryland proved why. So that is a season sweep for Virginia Tech. They will take 3 of 3 against the Maryland Terrapins. And we saw, as you mentioned a couple of times in this tournament, where teams were going for that third one and couldn't get it done. But Virginia Tech victorious. They win the Admirals Cup, and their season will continue in M2. Congratulations to the Hokies. Victorious after a very hard-fought weekend, and another one of the best traditions in all of sports, passing off the cup. Doesn't matter if it's the Stanley Cup or the Admirals Cup, it will feel like 33 pounds one way or another.
Yeah, and a huge shout-out to the Virginia Tech Hokies. What a game, what a weekend, really. They came out, and the most lopsided game was their game against High Point. They crushed the High Point Panthers 7-2, and then they conquered their demons with a really dominant first half of that game against Penn State, and they were able to close it out when it mattered most. And then today against an extremely feisty and a really solid Maryland team, they were able to take home the gold. The Admirals Cup is going to Blacksburg.
50 saves, by the way, for Pharisee in defeat. So twice in this tournament, he is called upon to make 50-plus saves for Maryland. And again, just a freshman. Congratulations to that young man.
And they've got a really solid backup who was injured most of this season, who was also a freshman, Devin Brown, who at one point looked like he was going to take Pharisee's job. He'll be back next year. And so Maryland, they're going to have 2 really good goaltenders. Practically their entire defense group, minus Sean Amon, is going to be returning. And based on how Andrew Wallace played today, it's fair to say that he'll slate perfectly into that kind of second pairing lockdown defenseman role.
Yeah, Andrew Wallace playing really
just unfathomable. I mean, if you were to tell Terps fans that Wallace would be an unsung hero, I don't think anyone would say that, would expect that, considering, how little he played towards the back half, or in the back half of this season. And Maryland, there's no doubt that next year they'll be back in this tournament and perhaps even playing in this exact game. Maybe they'll pull off what Virginia Tech did.
Yeah, another phenomenal tradition here. The photo after winning it all. Virginia Tech, champions of the ACC-HL, and we congratulate them. Looking forward to talking with Coach Joey Mullen coming up here in just a few minutes. Of course, he is currently celebrating, and rightfully so, with his group. I am not going to reveal. I asked him before the game what his daughter predicted the score would be. All I'm going to say is she was awfully close for the second day in a row. She was actually even closer today than she was yesterday. So he might need to keep.
Yeah, he's the one hoisting it right now. Let him have his moment.
Make sure she's at every game. Make sure she gives her prediction before each game, because her predictions have been pretty good. But congratulations to Coach. And I got a chance to catch up with him a little bit, and I know that he coached and played against a lot of these guys in the ACC-HL when he was playing, and these guys around the league, Ehrlichman and everybody else, when they were playing. Brian Bennett, who also is a Rowan alumni, but got to be a great moment for the Hokies and their fans. And this is great here. Is Peduzzi taking a photo with the cup, and now Peduzzi alongside Lagus. And Lagus, we haven't even talked about how good he was. J.H. Lagus, seemingly, we talked about how unflappable Pharisee was. Lagus, that was him playing in the back for Virginia Tech. Throughout, anytime he was in his own zone, felt like you knew the breakout was likely going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was just it was a team effort. Today they didn't necessarily get the biggest contributions from Peduzzi. Obviously, he had the first goal and forced the turnover that led to the game-winning goal, but it wasn't necessarily, I'm sure he's not going to say that it was his best game, but they got contributions from everyone. Obviously, Austin Hearn, not his best game, but again, you got players like Tulo who stepped up and rose up to the occasion, and just an incredible performance by the Hokies against a really feisty Terps team.
I believe we are going to have Gavin Peduzzi in just a moment. First, though, we have got Coach Joey Mullen, who is standing by with us. And first of all, Coach, congratulations. That is, I imagine for you, that is exactly how you would have wanted to draw it up. Maybe minus some of the rising blood pressure through the third period, but job well done at the end. And who else? It's Cam Kazai. We talked about him, you and I did, before this game even began, about the wheels that kid has.
Yeah.
And boy, did he show him off there.
He's good, and we've been talking to him a lot this game. We had a lot of in-tight chances, and Pharisee played really well on the first shot, so we really preached to these guys, hey, give him a little shoulder fake, get him to bite, and walk around him, and it just worked out magically. And I got my little score predictor here with me. She was pretty close again today.
She sure was. I think she's going to be a future analyst.
I know.
At this rate.
Do you want to say
closer today.
Come here. You want to say hi? Say hi to the camera.
I just waved, but
say hi?
you could not have seen that.
No, it's all good. They had fun. I'm glad they got to be here today for it.
Absolutely.
And, Coach, you guys, last night you kind of conquered your demons against Penn State. You know, you were in this spot last year. What does it mean to not only win it all, but beat Penn State on the way to the victory?
I think it was funny. This year's playoffs kind of mirrored last year. Last year, we always had a really tough time with NC State in the playoffs. Beat them on Saturday night, and I think that really just emotionally and physically wore us out, and we were just drained. And then having the same thing Saturday night against Penn State, I didn't want to have the letdown going into Sunday like we did last year. So we preached no letdown. Yesterday meant nothing without today, and I'm just all glory to God for this and these kids, and it's just great to get it done.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your netminder, Tucker Forrest? Because there were long stretches. I felt like the way each period kind of played out, excluding maybe the overtime, it always felt like Maryland came out a little stronger at the start of each period, and Virginia Tech would slowly but surely wear Maryland down. There were long stretches where he wasn't seeing a lot of rubber, and then when he did, he came up big.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tuck's been good for us all year. Last year, he's a freshman, started his career 9-0, so we knew we had something special with him. Give credit to him and Key and even Shane Cook. They push each other every day in practice, make each other better. They're a really tight goalie room, so it's pretty cool.
And, Coach, just, I guess, congratulations. The game-winning goal, you can talk about Kazai, but it was really set up by Gavin Peduzzi, the poke check. Just walk us through what the bench was how they were reacting, as Kazai was kind of breaking away.
I mean, you got to have full confidence in that guy. He scored a lot of big goals for us, and if you go back and watch the NC State game last year, the goal and the move he pulled was identical to the goal he scored in that game. So when he's coming in on a breakaway, with the speed he comes in with, and he makes goal hard on goal, he's like, I kind of knew it was over once he had that puck.
Coach, congratulations. We'll let you go. I know you've got a couple of happy fans down there with you.
Yeah,
and I believe there's a player down there with you.
Yeah,
too, right?
I got Peduzzi here for you.
Very good. Gavin Peduzzi going to join us here in just a moment. Thanks again, Coach.
Yep.
So Virginia Tech, again, wins this one 3-2 and celebrating on the ice right now. And obviously this is the culmination for a lot of players' careers at the club level. You're not necessarily going to go on beyond that. Some do and play overseas, certainly, as Gavin Peduzzi is here with us now. And Gavin has been one of those guys who has had a just tremendous career at this level. As it's been explained to me, either you or Cam hold basically every record in Virginia Tech program history, but I'm sure nothing is as sweet as what just happened out there on the ice now.
Oh, it's as good as it gets right there. Couldn't be happier.
And Gavin, you have all the points records at Virginia Tech. You're known for your scoring, but you made an incredible defensive play. You poked that puck out of Grant Warner, which ended up being the play that set up Kazai's breakaway. Walk us through what you saw and what made you decide to poke that puck out.
Yeah, I grew up playing defense, so I've always had a decent poke check. I saw the chance to just poke it out. Once it got on Cam's stick, I knew he was ending it right there, so that was awesome.
What are you going to do now? How are you going to celebrate?
We're definitely going to take the cup out to the bars tonight, watch the Super Bowl, go Seahawks, and it's going to be a blast.
I'm really glad.
It's a beautiful cup.
I'm glad you said go Seahawks. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Gavin, congratulations. We'll let you go and celebrate with your teammates, all right?
Awesome, thank you.
That was Gavin Peduzzi, and what a great weekend of hockey. And before we get on out of here for this entire weekend at Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, it has just been tremendous. The hockey has been good. anytime you can get overtime hockey in all three levels. We got overtime hockey in the quarters, we got overtime hockey in the semis, we got overtime in the finals. That's a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, it was unreal. It seems like every game, as the games kept progressing, they just got better and better. You know, that first day, that Wake Forest Penn State game kind of set the scene for the rest of the weekend. And then yesterday, that Maryland and Rowan barn burner. And then you couldn't have asked for a better script than what we saw tonight.
So Virginia Tech wins this one 3-2. A special thanks to everybody involved with the video productions crew. It takes a good group of guys to help put events like these together, both on the ice and behind the scenes. Thanks to Finn Trainer as well, rinkside, and thanks to Owen Korzak. I'm Alex Wiederspiel saying so long for now, and we'll meet again next time here on AAU+.